Please speak into your
The
microphone.
Phantom Pain, the Phantom Menace.
The
Phantom Hourglass.
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
Damn it.
Hello and welcome to the Pixel Podcast. My name is Matt, and I'm here with Ethan.
Hello.
And Ricardo.
Yo.
And we've got Laurentius.
I'm back.
He's back.
With a vengeance. I don't think I said it on the podcast. I'm not sure if I did, but thank you for submitting a top 5 for our Game of the Year stuff. We also had Parker submit one as well, and Amber wrote one. So thank you for
My
that.
pleasure.
It was cool having some extra content on the site. So everyone, I know it's like late now, but our video's up on that. All of our articles are up, so go check that out. Since I have an excuse to talk about it again, because we did stuff. We put it on the website. It's there. You can go check it
It's
out.
still up there.
Oh.
You can still see it.
Ricardo is hurting himself
I've
with
been
his
attacked.
microphone.
The pop filter decided it didn't like him anymore.
Yeah.
that
Well, he
happen?
shouldn't be so
I'm
insulting
fine.
to the pop filter. We're going to cancel his pop filter pre-order, and the pop filter's like, no! Just slap you in the face.
Hey, this pop filter falls sometimes. Oh yeah, guess what? It's falling now. Oh god.
That's what happens. Gosh, where was I? Video games.
Video game.
They're out. They're back.
What do we normally talk about on here?
Well, politics, Jeff Bezos,
Muchos Bezos.
Weird food.
weird food.
food.
Yeah, we ate crickets once, and then Japanese candies another time.
We gotta
Which
do
one
that
went? Which one was better? Find out. Go listen.
The delicious candy or the damn crickets?
You didn't try the crickets. You can't tell how good they were. They were okay.
They're all right.
They're okay.
Yeah, but the candy was really good.
candy was tasty. It was Yokai Watch themed.
I got Girl Scout cookies. We could try those.
No, what would they be like?
No,
No, those are coconut ones, aren't they? They're gross.
the best
Oh,
ones.
those
Gross.
are delicious.
The best
Junior
ones.
mints.
No,
It's-
Junior Mints is
no, not Junior
terrible.
mints. I mean,
Mints.
thin
Thin
mints.
mints.
What am
Thin
I
mints
saying?
are good.
Thin mints
They're
are good.
they're overrated. They're
You're
just,
overrated.
They're just chocolate with thin mints. Like just
You know
eat a
what's-
York peppermint patty.
You know what's
No, those are gross.
What's wrong
Oh,
with
those
you?
ones are the York peppermint patties are delicious.
They're made out of toothpaste, and there's like a thin veneer of chocolate. It's just like
Toothpaste is
glazed on
delicious.
top.
Finally, I
Laurentius,
can
you want to
eat-
jump in here and defend
Be a
something?
tiebreaker. I mean, that side with me.
All I gotta say is that York peppermint patties are amazing when they're frozen.
Oh
All
yeah.
right, all right.
Hey, I've never had them when they're frozen.
Oh, have you?
before.
The Klondike bar has a York peppermint patty flavor too, and that's really good. Speaking
Oh,
of
yeah,
frozen
that
To be
was-
ones.
fair, I used to love York peppermint patties, and then I think I ate too many of them one day, and it just
Mm.
like
you probably like them again now.
This is not
Mhm.
good
That'll
anymore. And then
Learned a version.
Yep, exactly.
I
Had
remember
a bad experience.
we used to go to Green Burrito when it was like a standalone location,
I've never
and
been.
then
I didn't know it was.
they
I hadn't
had
seen it
like
standalone.
the one that we went to had like a York peppermint patty dispenser. So like after we would eat, we
Wait,
would,
like a candy dispenser?
like yeah, like a candy
Oh,
dispenser,
okay.
like a
I thought it
a
was like
quarter.
specifically
no,
just
no, no,
designed solely for York peppermint
No, no, it
patties.
was weird though. It was like it was a candy dispenser, but
It
it
is
had
really
York
weird.
peppermint patties in it, and so like I used to get one every time.
Man.
That or a gumball.
The choices, the decisions,
Peppermint patty.
the claw game, and then the claw would never
But the gumball
grab the
lasts
actual toy.
longer. And
The
sometimes
gumballs are gross.
sometimes I had a picture on it.
I like gum quite a lot, but gumballs are they always like
They're so hard.
yeah they're so hard,
big.
and then they just like they lose their flavor in like a couple
They do,
minutes.
but you can blow sick bubbles with them.
What?
Yep.
This is what you want, and
You're
the thing you put in your mouth.
crazy. All right. Spin the bottle. Who's gonna talk first? Oh, it landed on Ethan.
Ah.
Ah.
All right, let's get this over with, Ricardo.
All right, you guys got to kiss.
Oh.
And then you got to talk about which games you've been playing.
Oh, okay.
Are we gonna talk about that first or
I don't
no?
know. Oh yeah, we could talk about that. Why
Yeah.
not? So, I've talked about this game a while ago. Called,
That.
Helldivers.
Oh, yeah.
Helldivers.
I
we
played
played
it a
it.
while ago, but recently it went free on PlayStation Plus, and I told Ricardo to get it, and we played some of that.
Yep.
And remembering how to play that game was quite a lot of fun for me because that game is unrelenting. That's the word.
Yeah. It's relentless.
relentless.
Or unrelenting.
One of the
whatever.
two. You
Mix it.
decide.
I made a hybrid word.
Viewers
Yeah,
at
it's
home,
funny
right
'cause-
in.
Because like I went through the tutorial and I went through a couple of missions solo and I was like, this game's hard, but I'm getting the hang of it. And then it's just like, whatever, I don't remember how to play, but let's just go. And then he just joins my team, and then some stuff happened. Ethan, you want to tell what you
the
did?
way the game works is
Hear the
you
story.
pick, they kind of like randomly generated maps, procedurally generated, I guess is the proper term, and you pick a spot to place your character on or where you drop in.
You're dropping in.
So you can either drop in directly on objectives, which the disadvantage of is there would be more units that'll spawn and more bad guys, or you could spawn in where it tells you to. And so for some reason, I kept putting it on the objective, and since I didn't know how to play the game, there was a bunch of people spawning in,
Yeah.
and I was like, "What's this button? Oh, grenade! I threw it. Oh, we're dead."
Is it just you two? Or you have another
Yeah,
person?
No, it's just us two. Keep in mind, if you've never played Helldivers, it's like an isometric dual stick shooter kind of thing with the basic gist of what makes
Starship
it difficult.
Troopers.
Yeah, it's a Starship Troopers kind of parody sort of game. But the
Where you're
basic
like
gist of
Super
what makes
America, and you're going to like kill
Super
the
Earth.
aliens. Yeah,
Super
Super
Earth,
Earth.
First
yeah.
United.
What makes it difficult is that, first of all, if you're playing with multiple people, there's friendly fire, so you always have to get underneath like people's fire or not shoot at someone if they're in
You
trouble.
can go prone,
necessarily.
can't you?
Yes, you can go
Yeah.
prone.
Yeah.
And also, like when you call in support, you have to manually put in like directional buttons to put in,
I remember
to
that.
call
the
in
code.
support.
And move out of the way when that support comes
Yeah,
down.
Because
right?
it'll land right on
Everything
your head.
drops in from the sky, so
You can kill enemies with it too, right?
you can kill enemies, but more likely you can also kill yourself.
That's easy.
and
And
including
so-
when you respawn, you also drop in when you respawn,
Yes,
right?
that too. And so Ethan decided, I'm gonna stop dropping us on this objective.
And just
Instead,
put it where it starts.
I'm
us.
gonna just drop us like right in the middle of the map where it shows. And so we drop in, and as soon as our guys start getting out of their pods, a lava spout near us shoots off and lands directly on Ethan and almost kills him almost immediately. And so like I failed that mission real quick, and I'm just like, all right, don't drop us in that spot again.
So I moved it over a little bit.
Couldn't you respawn him?
What's up?
Couldn't you respawn
Yeah,
him?
but I
By this
died.
time, people were already at him,
Yeah,
and then
so-
he just died.
Yeah,
So I spawned in again at a slightly different angle, and it was on a different one.
yeah, so
then-
so he just died immediately. And then also we would go to the top of the level to hit that objective, and then come back down
there's
to
a bunch of
deliver the
lava.
objective, and then we would have to run through the lava spouts, and like literally almost every time Ethan would run directly into the lava and kill himself. And I didn't know why he kept doing that, like if he was like blind to it coming out or what he
It
was
stupid.
doing.
Stupidity.
It just kept happening, and then you fell off a cliff.
I don't remember there being so many lava spouts in this game.
That was it's only in the alien, or not the alien, the robot world.
There's
the
three
Races.
alien races, right?
Yeah, there's like a weird like
There's like a psychic alien. It's like
Starcraft.
Starcraft. It's just you got the
Yeah.
psychic aliens, you've got the bug aliens, and then you've got the robot mans.
yeah. And also the version that you get on PS Plus, and you actually just downloaded all the updates and
Yeah.
stuff, and now
Comes with a bunch of
there's-
expansions.
yeah,
and
there's
stuff.
new like objectives to do, like that can happen, like escort, like everyone's favorite, the escort. There's like bomb defusing where you have to one person has to like sweep, and then you can like for mines, and then you like disable the mines and stuff.
And
like
this is
that.
the same developers as Magicka, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. It's pretty neat. I forgot how much fun it was to play that game.
It's a lot of fun. It's free.
It sounds like it'd be chaotic if there was more people.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Isn't
Is
that the
'cause-
4? Is
Yeah,
that
it goes
so?
with the 4.
I feel like 3 is probably the golden number on that one.
I was gonna say 2, but
Three.
might be
It could
okay.
be. It could be
Because with
nice
2,
to have.
if one is down, the other one is shooting, and they're
here's something that could happen though: is if you call down a drop pod and then die, you'll also spawn in with that drop pod, which is weird.
Yeah.
That's like impossible.
Yeah, it could be. It could be nice, especially because now there's also like straight up horde like waves of enemy mode, like
Which is pretty neat.
missions that happen, and I could see there where it would be nice to have like another gun or another person that spawn in a turret or whatever. But yeah, it gets so chaotic. It gets chaotic enough with just 2 that like adding more people to that would
Would just
probably
be
be a lot more
ridiculous.
fun. Also, but. Also, not as efficient as me and Ethan started like working together really well, and
I feel like that
doing
game would
things
be pretty good
easily.
on PC, but it's only PS4,
No, it's
right?
on PS. It's PC now.
Is it PC now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on PC as well.
But it's
Uh,
on.
It
It's
was
on.
PS4 exclusive at first, though.
It was. It had
Yeah.
it was on it for a while. I don't know if it was just because it was easier to develop or whatever, but
That
that
paid.
they paid it.
That paid
And then they're
deal
like,
with Sony.
now it's free, yay!
Yeah.
So
It's free on PS Plus this month, so if
definitely.
you
Check it
haven't,
out.
yeah, you should definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun.
And the other thing I've been playing is XCOM 2, which
XCOM
is
United.
XCOM Ultimate, Electric Boogaloo, Ultra Street Fighter,
Turbo.
XCOM.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Good one.
so that's a great game. That's a really great game.
Is it a great game?
It's a great game.
Is it a great game?
It is. It's hard to like go through all the little things that they did, but almost every single system in the original XCOM Enemy Unknown. I guess that's weird.
Not the
'cause it's a
original
reboot, but
the,
like
the one from
the
2011,
2012,
2012.
2012 reboot.
Yeah.
You're talking about the Bureau, right?
Yeah, the Bureau. I'm sorry, I'm talking about that.
That game.
I have that game. So
Oh man, I saw that game at E3. Were you there for that? I
Yeah,
can't
that
re-
was when it
Was
was.
that the one
It
with
was
the
a
black
first. It was
blobby?
a
like-
first-person shooter at the time. It
I
was
was
not
not
a
around for that.
third-person shooter.
Oh, I remember that, and it was the only XCOM announced. They didn't have
Yes,
Enemy Unknown at
because
the time.
because like the big hullabaloo out of
Was it's
E3
not a
was like,
freaking-
oh my god, look what they did to XCOM, and then Fear Access was like, no, but we're also making XCOM,
And ours
like,
is the real
this
one.
is
They're-
the
and they're like,
real
and
one.
ours is the real one.
Yeah.
And then, but
and then
then
2K Marine was
I was
like,
like,
oh,
oh. And then they delayed it for like four more years, and they're
Yeah,
like,
we
it's
did it.
out. Oh, it's okay.
It's all right.
It's all right. Laurentius, you've also been playing XCOM 2, correct?
I have, yes. I
All
have
right.
been playing XCOM 2.
So guys, talk about it. Tell us about.
So, like I
yeah,
said, there's
what's
so
changed?
many things that have changed. So many little like everything has been improved. Everything has been kind of upgraded, and kind of made just for not just to make the game harder, which it also does. I think the game is slightly harder than the
It
first
is.
one.
It is a bit harder than the original.
And the first one wasn't easy.
No,
by
it's
any
definitely
means.
not. But they've also added a lot of stuff where, so the aliens have more things, but you also have more things. You can also like you unlock psyops, whatever, like pretty early in the game. If I remember, like much earlier in the last one, which was like almost at the end of the campaign.
Yeah,
Right,
it
and-
was, it was
and-
like 3/4 of the way through the
Yeah.
original XCOM. This one, it's like a quarter of the way in.
Probably
Not
maybe
even.
a little
Not
bit less.
even. Not even that. It's like the
Maybe a
third
quarter.
room you can unlock.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's also, I guess, it's good to say, it's 20 years later in the future. That it's under the impression that you lost the first game. So, like, the aliens have taken over the whole
You
world.
straight up lost.
So it kind of makes sense that you'd have,
Mm-hmm.
like, psychic stuff earlier because, like, that's just kind of part of the society now to have all these chips in people's
Yeah.
heads kind of thing.
Everyone's
and,
got different stuff, and instead of having like little crappy sectoids, you're fighting against like the original unit is just what they call Advent, which is the united front between aliens and humans, which are like aliens who, in theory, they're supposed to be humans that are working for the Advent, but they're just people who have been mind controlled or have mind control chips implanted in them, and
Yeah.
now they're working for them.
The aliens are evil.
The aliens are evil.
It's actually a lot of genetic manipulation. I think they've said.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Like,
a
they're
lot
changing
of their,
them into not humans anymore.
Yeah, and they're improving them and giving them extra like body mass and things like that.
Basically, the aliens are doing a lot of good, universal health care.
Totally, yeah, that's what they're saying.
Travel and technology is a lot
That's what they're
easier.
saying. You don't have your
Yeah.
freedom, man. My freedom.
Is this like some sort of like
No, because they're
Uh,
just straight up doing bad
no,
stuff.
I
Like you
know.
go at one point, you see a bunch of just people just being processed, and it's like, oh, cool, all right. I guess they're just being experimented on. That's totally cool.
yeah.
Trying to think of other stuff. Like it's just the game. The core gameplay is basically the same. I guess the one big thing that they changed was the concealment system, which is when you come into a mission, unless it's like a civilian rescue mission, you start off concealed, which means you can walk around pretty much freely.
And the aliens aren't like actively
Aware of
looking
your
for, Yeah,
presence,
they're not
yeah.
looking for you.
So unless you walk right into a line of sight, which has very convenient little spots on the grid, they're not going to see you and they're not going to bother you. So it's really cool to set up like an ambush on one thing and be like, all right, now fire. And then you see one guy shoot, everyone else on Overwatch, they'll activate and they'll just mow down everything. And it felt so good to do that. That's one thing that's really cool. That's kind of like the only thing that the game has made like easier, I guess, as far as gameplay thing, where
The opening
humans get
salvo.
an advantage. Yeah, which was also nice because the thing about the first game is sometimes you would just run into an area and it would activate like 3 groups of enemies and it'd be like, well,
And then they get a free movement too.
and then they
after-
get a free
yeah.
movement, which
Yeah.
was like, that's bad.
So they still get the free
And
movement, but
downplanes.
now you get to set up the conditions for when they start moving.
Exactly. So as soon as they move, then you can just shoot at them, which is nice. Then you also get the first shot, which is also though usually be out in the open. What other things have they done? So they've gotten rid of since this is taking place after the you lost in the first XCOM, you're contacting resistance groups among the alien world that's been taken over. So each of these resistance groups, you're trying to fly around and contact them, and try to build a network, and which will give you, these networks will give you information on stuff that's happening in the world, and that world will then let you know, like, okay, hey, this is where the bad guys are setting up this stuff, so you need to go stop it. And it feels a little bit, I guess not as linear in some ways. Like the beginning is always, you always do like, all right, we're gonna discover, you know, the first alien base, or you know, that sort of thing. But afterwards, it's kind of just like, all right, the Avatar project, which is the end game state, is gonna start ticking up. And now you just got to find the next bases to hopefully stop it, and then get enough technology, and then hopefully you'll get it. So it's a little more open-ended, and they've added a lot more random events, random elements. The campaign always starts off completely different. I restarted my game because I was way boned in the campaign I was playing because I didn't understand what to upgrade first and kind of how the upgrade system worked. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to reset this, start fresh. I kind of understand how the mechanics work. So I restarted it and started playing. And the first mission was completely different. It was like, plant this explosive on a tower, not tower, like a statue, and blow it up. And it starts off with just a bunch of people gathered around the statue. So it's like, well, I guess I'll just throw a grenade, and then they all die, and then just everyone just shoots them. It's super weird, but it was really neat to see that even like the beginning of the game can change and be different. Another thing is, in the old game, all the levels were the same. There wasn't any variety in the levels. There's like maybe 80 maps, which is a lot. But eventually, you would start seeing maps that look very similar. They would look the same.
They shoveled a couple items around, but they're still like...
They're pretty much the exact same. And this one is completely randomly generated. So they have the tile sets, and like kind of like Diablo uses the same sort of ideas behind it. It takes certain pieces of maps, and it's like, okay, well, this area is going to have this sort of cover, or maybe this will be the objective. And it generates different areas depending on that. Another cool thing is, depending on where you are in the world, they won't always look like middle suburbia, which is what it felt like in the last game, where it was always like, it's the Midwest. Aliens are made in the Midwest.
No matter if you're in Russia
in
or
South America,
yeah.
that's South Africa, wherever, you know, it's like, so they've spent a lot more in the details on all the things you kind of wished were in Enemy Unknown, and kind of just smoothed out the process a lot more in a lot of ways.
They've also tuned up the classes to be a little bit different. So
Yes.
made them a little bit. You have to change your playstyle a little bit. So the ranger is now kind of like your stealth guy. So even if the rest of your squad is exposed,
Mhm.
that guy can also be still concealed. So you get an extra guy who can kind of move around, and he has 17 tiles of movement instead of 15 for everyone else.
Mhm.
And he's got a sword, a melee attack, so he can rush enemies and just slice them down. So it gives a lot different kind of dynamics in that regard beyond just
Yeah.
you know your standard assault class guy.
And the cool thing about him being concealed is you can actually scout around, as opposed to just being like, oh, I hope walk in here. Oh, no, there's people. Which is nice.
It's always nice to not be like, oh, there's people.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like people, so this is a good thing
I
for
walked
me.
into Target today and I was like, oh, there's people. No.
All the time.
And then they all went on to Overwatch, and then you were like, oh no.
It's also interesting how,
Very
like, I
much.
feel like each tree on each class seems to be a lot more, what's the word for it?
Diverse?
Not diverse, but like
There's
different.
still only two options.
There's still only two options, but instead of being like, do you want the sniper to be able to move and shoot with the sniper, or do you want him to go into Overwatch for free or something like that? I don't remember what the old ones were. But this one's like, nope, this is all pistols for this sniper rifle. Like, do you want to go like crazy gun toting, like person who gets shot and just start shooting at people, and you can just run around like crazy with a sniper rifle, and also shoot really awesome with your gun? Or do you want to put all your points in your sniper rifle? Stuff like that. And here's a new thing that you can do is you can also, I can't remember what the facility's called, but you can train other people to get perks from different classes,
What?
which completely
I
changes
was gonna say
almost
that that's
everything.
like a throw off balance or something like that, but
Just makes your guys really awesome. You only get
Yeah.
like one or two. I think it's like one.
yeah, I
one?
think
think
it's
it's
a
one or
limit.
two,
There's
yeah.
a limit, right?
There's a limit.
It's the Advanced Warfare Center or something like that.
Yeah. So you can train, you know, your sniper to go into concealment after
That's
in the game,
pretty useful
which
for a
is
sniper.
really cool. So you can really build your characters to be very unique and have their own sort of set. A lot more so in the first one, where it's just like, this guy's really good and he does shooting good. This guy's instead, it's like, this person's really good because they run in and they slice dudes, and they're really good at slicing dudes.
The Ranger seems like the most new, unique class. Or I guess we saw the drone. The guy with the drone.
drone's pretty new. The sharpshooter's about the same, and the
minigun
grenadier's
guy.
almost the same.
Yeah.
But the other two are, they've been considerably
How many?
changed
Is
up.
just 4 classes?
There's
Is that
just
it?
4.
4?
Yeah. don't want to. Was there 4 in the last one? It was 4 in the last
Yeah,
one.
there was 4 in the last one. There's technically 5 because you got the Psi-Operant, which
Oh, yeah,
we
you're
haven't
right.
unlocked yet. So
That's
we're waiting
true.
for the psionics guys. For
So
the next
that
fight.
counts as a new class. You can't have like a sniper with the psionic.
I don't know yet
Because I
we haven't
remember-
gotten that far
Because I
yet.
thought in the first one it just was like an add-on that you can put on.
Yeah,
anyone. I don't
like
know.
in the
It might be the same.
they
so.
treated that. Do you know if like they have some of the stuff that was in the last one, like the jetpack armor and stuff like
Yes.
that?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
also
they
in
have
the
grappling hook armor.
And in the
in
updates
the,
where
in the
you could
expansion, you could
do-
you could turn your guy into a mech. Like
Yeah.
you
yeah,
could,
you
like,
can do
be
that
like,
in this one
yeah.
too.
do make it like get rid of all of his arms and legs and just have him be like a robot, like a super robot dude. With
Yeah, they
like
have exosuits.
either a
in this
giant
one.
flamethrower or like a big he can just like punch dudes really well. Like
Mhm.
Yeah, you still have that. So
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other stuff they added. I know they added loot, which is like you pick up stuff and you can get it.
Mhm.
It's simple, but that adds this game very much. In the first one, you could take your time. You can go nice and slow, and you can move up slowly in Overwatch, and then move a couple guys up and see the next person there. This one's like, all right, 11 turns, and the aliens are gonna blow this up that you need to get. So go as fast as you can. That's like a good maybe 75% of the missions are like that.
yeah,
That's ridiculous, but it forces you to not
Camp.
use the same play style as
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
normally used to, where it's kind of slow, methodical. So when those missions do come up where you can take your time, you're like, oh man, this is like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, because I do remember in the first one, it's like taking huge swaths of the first few turns, just like slowly creeping up, and where are they?
Yeah.
Slowly creeping up, and where are they? Slowly, and then it's like finally,
There
like,
they are.
like 10 minutes later, it's like, oh, there they are. All right.
Yeah.
Now we can. I know we actually fight.
Any crazy new enemies that were worth noting? We saw a couple, but I didn't see anything that that I hadn't already seen in previews or.
well,
from the last game.
there is the sectoids that used to be like 1 meter tall and didn't really hurt that much, now are 2 meters tall and can really screw you up.
Yeah, they can do like mind control stuff, right?
Yeah, they can do mind control. They have this like sniper shot that they shoot from the wrist, and they can reanimate dead people.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, and then also cause your characters to go panic mode.
hmm
Yeah, those guys are brutal.
I saw the snake guys.
So it's
whatever.
like those are like they were like the level 1 enemies in the last
Mhm.
game.
They were
pretty
the
much,
thin men, yeah. But because now they're revealed, they can actually hurt you.
They had the brutes in the old game still, which I was like, oh, these guys, whatever. I
Yeah,
recognize
the
these
mutants.
guys. The mutants, that's it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just gonna melee them, and I was like, yeah,
That
charge.
seems like a
And
bad
then-
idea.
and
And
he just
boom.
punches you in the face, just murders the guy, and I was like, well, apparently you
Aw.
can't do that.
Wait,
They do
before,
have-
but wait, before you even hit him
Yeah.
with the sword? Oh
Yeah.
wow, just like
Not all the
They're
time,
like a
'cause
mute.
sometimes you can
They
get it.
have like
a counter. They have like a
Yeah, they can
low-
counterattack.
like low melee chance.
Yes. There's also what is it? Did you get to the mind jacking stuff yet?
Kind of, not really. I mean, I've already mind jacked one guy.
But you've seen the enemy that comes out from that, right?
The Cortex.
The Cortex.
Yes.
That thing sucks.
yeah.
What,
that
what,
thing-
what is mind jacking
So,
and what does it mean?
So at one point you get a thing that's called I think it's called Skulljack. That's the proper term.
Skulljack? Yeah.
So remember how I said how there are
Skulljack.
characters that have their heads implanted with like mind control chips?
Right.
Well, then you get this thing when your soldiers can, you just shove it right into their face, and then you take the information from their chip.
That sounds brutal.
That is very
It's like,
brutal.
hey, we could just extract this chip from your head, but we're just gonna
That's
smash
do all
your
that it's alive,
face
'cause
in.
it-
Yeah,
stop.
they do it in their life. Yeah.
So then it turns into a hack, and then it pulls a little hacking screen. It's like,
it's
all right,
like-
what kind of hack do you want?
And now
It's pretty crazy.
It's
which one
loading.
do I
It's
want?
loading.
Yeah. So
Oh,
one thing that they
The OS is booting. Oh no.
one thing they did is that they actually, if you play I don't know if did you play the tutorial at all?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you remember, like the first mission in the tutorial is actually them rescuing you as a commander.
Oh, that part's so funny.
And so what happens is that you actually were plugged into the network as a commander, and they were running all of their network through your guy.
Mm.
And every single military unit is part of this psionic network. And so the thing of the Skulljack is you have to try and access that network to try and figure out what was going on. But yeah, after you do that, they discover this facility where we have this Cortex, which is this like little sprite that zooms around all the map. It's,
Can teleport around the entire map. Has a sniper shot. Can clone themselves to put themselves in 2 different spots. They also can, if your
What
guys
is
are
it
close
like?
together.
Is it like electronic ball?
Kinda. It's like
a-
it's fuzzy.
it's like it's pure energy on top of a skull. It's
Yeah.
hard to
Oh, it's
describe.
kind of similar to those guys that were in the UFOs in
Kinda, yeah.
in the last
yeah.
game.
Yeah.
It sounds
So
like.
they would jump around, and then they could also put this cloud that'll disable all of your weapons, so you have to reload them. And not only that, if you don't move out of that cloud, it explodes and does like a ton of damage. So it's just like miserable when those guys come up
Wow,
because then they get right
jeez.
behind you and then they're like, "Ah, I'll shoot you behind cover."
What was that faceless guy you were talking about?
So the faceless is in the civilian mission. You'll be walking around and you'll be like, "I'm doing the civilians. I'm rescuing
This is
them."
random, right?
This is random. So you can walk up to get close to a civilian. You don't have to get like on them. Get close to them, and all of a sudden they'll transform into this giant, huge, like 5 foot. No, not 5 foot. Like
Like 7
giant.
feet.
Huge.
Like
Huge.
7 feet.
More like 9 feet. Like they're really huge. 9 foot
big.
tall, just blob things with giant claws, and they do AOE attacks. And so what was great is when I found this, I was like, "Oh, cool! I got my guys by a car. That's great." I have like 2 people around by a car. Walks over, AOE's both of them, and then the car explodes at the same time. They're all dead. I was like, "Well, fuck this game."
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like you were saying how you can teach skills to like other classes and stuff and make really awesome soldiers, but in XCOM a lot of times you thinking you're really really awesome is the worst possible thing that you can think, because
very true.
things can just turn instantly and you're
Also,
dead.
XCOM is one of those games similar to Darkest Dungeon that we were talking about the last couple of weeks, but it's similar in that the first time you encounter something is the worst because you don't know what it does, and then it does, and then it does its thing, and you're like, "Oh, I didn't plan it." Like you said, I put these guys behind a car, now they're safe, and it's like, "No, I'm just gonna blow up that car and your 2 guys." Like, "Oh, well, if I knew that, I wouldn't have put the guys behind the car." Now, when I reload,
I'm not gonna do that.
I'm not gonna do that next time.
I would make an excuse when I save scums. I'd be like, "Okay, I didn't know." So I'm gonna.
That's what's cool with Darkest Dungeon. Even it does not. There's no save files on that. It auto saves after everything
obviously
that you do.
there's Iron Man mode, which I would like, but this game is really buggy. Like I would play Iron Man mode, but there's been so many times that for example, one bug, I clicked the grenade button and the person's like, "Well, I'll just throw it at my feet," as opposed to giving you an option to put it, pick where to throw it. Sometimes it's just be like, "I'm throwing it here at my feet. Oh, I'm dead." So there's some
that will happen.
There's some really bad bugs that.
No,
kinda
that's
might
not
me
bug,
wanna
man.
go.
It's like tripping in Smash Brothers. He dropped it.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, oh no.
Well, there was definitely a bug where I ran into where I was trying to tab through my soldiers, and all of a sudden the screen froze. And so I could still select everything, but I couldn't see anything. It was stuck on the same thing.
Oh.
Tried to target one guy. Nope, I targeted the mech.
Oh. Well,
we just saw a minor one where one lady kept talking in the corner, even though she wasn't actually talking anymore.
I've run into a lot of bugs in this game, which is kind of unfortunate, but also that's kind of how Firaxis games come out.
Yeah.
Usually, I mean,
start out pretty buggy
because there's so many like systems in the background working and trying to do all that math and things like that. Because XCOM is very much a board game. Still, even with the dice rolls and things like that, it feels honestly like I was playing it and I was like, you know what, this feels like Imperial Assault or Descent or something like that, where it's just moving miniatures across the board.
Do you know if it's like the last game where all of the dice rolls are what's the word, seeded before you start the mission?
I don't think so. I think it's different every time because I've reloaded and it's
because like that was the thing is to prevent saves coming, they made it so that like if you're at this spot shooting at this direction, you will it says 77% chance or whatever, but it's already it's already done the math.
No, I think the math is dynamic.
It's done
which
when
is
you do it.
Kind of nice, I guess.
There's pros and cons, Yeah,
I mean,
balance.
Again, if you want to do no saves coming, there's the Iron Man mode, which it pulls up right up front and is like, here you go. You want to just play the hardcore mode? You want to cry every time your character dies and there's no way to get him back?
What you say?
Post a video on YouTube about it.
Here's my thing. Here's the story I was gonna tell you guys.
Oh yeah.
So last night I was like, all right, I'm doing one more mission. It's like midnight, and I'm like, I'm still one more.
Well, I mean, it's a Firaxis game.
So it's always one more.
It's always one more.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm doing one more mission. So I get into it's the first alien base level, and I'm walking around, and I was like, all right, go got this. So I'm moving up forward, and then this dude just comes out and just has a stun baton and just slaps one of my guys from full health and instantly knocks him unconscious. Unconscious. I was like, well, unconscious, huh? This is awful. I really want this character, and I'm not going to save scum. I'm told myself I'm not going to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry. So that's a new mechanic, is being unconscious is the only way to get them back is to extract with them. So you have to carry the body all the way back.
Oh, my God.
So I'm at the beginning of the mission, and so I go through the entire mission picking putting this person down, picking them up, putting them down, picking them up, and
couldn't you leave him at the beginning and then
no, because the extraction's only at the end.
Oh, like it's like a linear map. You're going from
Yeah.
point A to point B.
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
you
'Cause
drop
a lot
in
of times,
one-
in XCOM Enemy Unknown, you go back to the original starting point
No.
to extract.
The extract's at the other end, so you can't just
Oh.
leave them at the beginning.
Yeah.
So that made it a little bit better. So they took some design into that. So
Yeah. Also, the extraction in any level, you can always extract people at any point and just put down a helicopter and then try to get them all out. See if you can and then fail the mission that way, so you don't lose everyone. Anyway, so I'm going through this entire area. And you know you have to go in the base to collect
I'm guessing
this
you
vial.
can't. I guess you can't shoot when the
No,
guy's on
when
your back.
someone's on your back. So I'm walking them up slowly, and I'm just
So
slowly.
you're down 2 guys when you're carrying somebody.
Pretty much.
basically, Yeah.
So I'm going slowly, moving slowly up, just taking out these turrets, and that's a pretty hard mission for where it's at. Like
Oh,
it's
it
one of the
is, yeah.
harder ones. So I'm like, I know there's gonna be a new enemy here because I played this mission before, and I'm like, okay, where's that new enemy? So there, I see. Oh, okay. Well, if I go inside, I know there's gonna be a bunch of stuff in there. So I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go around all the way to the back and go all the way around the level and try to drop the person off at the evac zone. So I start walking on level, but then I notice there's a door opening, or a door opening area, and the death robot sees me, and I'm like, well, shoot, I guess we're doing this.
Yeah.
So I put my buddy down, and I just have everyone run at me because there's no time limit, luckily. So they just all run at me. I start shooting them, and throughout this entire time, I'm slowly just carrying this person all the way around to the back. I'm not going in that place. I'm not going in the facility. And I get to the back, and I have everyone there. And I realize that you have to extract the person that's down, you have to go up with a live person. So I'll be losing 2 soldiers at that point. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to put their body on the extraction zone. And then instead of going through the front door, I was like, oh, yeah, there's a structure mechanic. So I just grabbed a grenade, blew up the back door of where the alien vial is, ran in real quick, grabbed it. As soon as they grabbed it, a bunch of people just were going to spawn in. I just ran the extraction zone and left. It was so
Nice.
exhausting, though. It was like, this is, I felt so satisfied after doing it. I'm like, I did that. I can't believe I did it. No one got killed in this crazy, super hard mission where I was down like one person almost immediately. And everyone survived. So
That's cool.
that was nuts.
It's a cool story.
There's all sorts of, just the way the mechanics work in this is I was telling you guys earlier, but I saw online that there was someone who made a character super stealthy and like all the concealment stuff, and they can run through Overwatch and things like that. And they put one person into the mission where they had to go in and put a bomb on something, and they ran through all these characters and just snuck by every single one, put the bomb down, and then ran to the extraction zone, didn't kill a single person, and completed the objective, which is crazy.
That's crazy.
Also probably really hard.
Yeah.
I'm not
But
gonna
it
do
kind
that.
of fits in with the way that it's set up now, is because you're now the guerrilla
resistance,
force.
yeah.
Exactly. It fits with the lore a lot more. But yeah, I'm really impressed with that game. I honestly thought it was just gonna be like, I wasn't even really that hyped up for XCOM 2. I was just like, oh man, another one of those games, huh? Well, I really like the first.
It'll be really good.
It'll
I'm
be
sure.
good, I guess. XCOM's cool, and then I played it. I was like, this is just so many things about this I like so much more than the first one. It feels because the cool thing about like Civ 5 is you're always doing kind of the same thing, but it's always so different because of all just the generation and stuff like that. This feels a little bit more like that, where it's like a big like a big sandbox you can kind of play in, as opposed to being like a
The
linear
campaign,
path,
yeah.
linear campaign.
Mhm.
You still kind of have the same sort of like, okay, you're gonna get these first and this first and blah blah blah, but there's so many more branches and just the random generalization of things. I've been talking about XCOM a lot, so I'm done.
That was a great way to end.
All I have to say is they've done XCOM 2. They've done a million civs. Let's make another Pirates game. Firaxis. Do it. Do it.
Won't be Sid Meier's anymore though.
Sid Meier still works on it.
Yeah. Sid
Um,
Meier's there. Sid
I know
Meier's
he
there.
is.
Sid Meier's Beyond Earth. That
That game was just not that good
That
though.
was not good at all.
Yeah.
Was that like a...
It was like Civ 5, but you're on an alien planet instead of on Earth. That's
That was
it.
basically
It was basically that. It's like a skin for Civ 5.
And
Apparently, it's
wasn't
better
good?
now though because they, like a lot of Firaxis games, they've updated it. They might have been
Yeah, Civ 5 was actually kind
there
of
might
bad
be,
when it first came
there might
out.
have been an expansion for it and things like that. But yeah, like Civ, the first Civ expansion was everyone was like, now this game is like good.
Yeah.
Like, and then they
And then,
had
then the last week, I'm like, okay, now this game's amazing.
yeah. So
Firaxis, man.
Make pirates. Make pirates. Make it. God, I love pirates.
There's so many other Pirates games coming out.
yeah, man. There's Sea of Thieves.
Now's the time to do it then.
It'll be too
Jump
late.
on the hotness of the pirates.
No, they got their niche with their weird tactical
Is it just
Super
called
exciting.
XCOM 2? No subtitle.
No subtitle. It's just
Nope.
XCOM 2.
Just
Just
XCOM
throwing
2.
off anyone who has like a sort of like naming
XCOM.
like organization for their
2.
for their website. or
Enemy
game.
renown.
Enemy
En-
renown.
Enemy discovered again. Rediscovered.
Enemy is here. Enemy is in charge.
Enemy is you.
Undercover boss.
Ricardo, what you been playing?
I honestly don't have much new to talk about.
All
I've
right.
just been playing games, but I'll update a little bit. Still playing Final Fantasy 14
And is it past the
Games?
month yet or not? I can't remember.
Not yet.
It was only last week, so no.
Ton of fun, man. I'm really digging that game. I like the weird like kind of single player storyline that they weave for your character, and like fates are always fun to jump in and out of. I've jumped into a couple of guild quests, I think they are, with an actual like party of randos, and we've done pretty well, and it's just fun. It's fun to play. I just worry that with Street Fighter coming out here, and like Street Fighter's coming out, Dark Souls 3 is coming out,
Oh yeah,
Doom's
pretty soon too.
Doom's coming out after that, and I really want to play that as well.
Really?
Yeah, the new Doom looks great.
I know. I'm not saying it looks bad.
Yeah.
I just
That-
I can't say I know anyone before you told me that.
That
who was,
trailer
excited for it.
Looked pretty cool, except it looks like a little bit too much melee to slow the combat down.
That's
I just
fair.
want to shoot mans.
That's fair.
I just want to shoot mans.
But don't you want to run at 90 miles an hour?
I do run at 90 miles an hour, but I don't want to. I don't want to stop and punch them.
Yeah, you don't
want
wanna,
to
like-
animation and stop that 90 miles.
You don't want to run like backpedal at 5,000 miles per hour, and then be like, oh, it triggered a melee thing. Let me do punt. Let me uppercut this guy and shoot him or whatever.
pull out his eyeball or whatever crazy thing you do.
And then-
so you're worried that maybe you won't have enough time for
Yeah,
Final Fantasy 14.
I don't know.
That's the problem with all MMOs for me. Is like at some point in my life, I was just like, I can't.
Well,
I
it'll
don't have
always
time
be
for this.
there.
I
So, I mean, you
suppose,
can
but
always
I
just
mean, but like it
come
is
back
a
to
month.
it.
It is a monthly subscription thing. So
Well, you just
like-
cancel for a month, right? I mean,
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose,
know.
Matt.
I don't
It's
know.
That's
just
a lot of. That's a
How
lot
do
of
games
effort.
work?
It's hard to be like, all right, this is my day. I spent money on this game, so I'm gonna play this game. Oh no, a bunch of games are coming out. I made a mistake.
Was
Yeah.
the
I
game
gotta get my-
itself free? No, the game itself costs money,
No,
right?
The game I bought I don't have the second expansion, so I was able to get it for
Okay,
like
so
$20.
it did cost money. Okay,
Yeah.
so that yeah, it's more of an
Yeah,
investment.
it's your free month. Yeah.
Yeah, you get a free month.
So
Tricky.
it's a lot of fun, but I don't know. We'll see. Stay tuned. Also, jumped back into some Guitar Hero. They have a third channel now for
Oh, cool.
the Shredathon, which is just their hardest songs in the game are on that third channel. Is basically what.
That's
it is.
cool.
So if you want to just be challenged all the time, including they added this last week
What's the hardest song?
through the Final Flames. They added
Oh,
it.
really?
They added
Okay.
it. So yeah.
Is it the same? Is it? Oh, of course, it can't be the same. 'Cause
No,
the,
it's the button
those are all
configuration
different.
makes
That'd
it
be
different.
hilarious if they just literally just.
Even on like the middle difficulty, which is what I typically play on, especially with the really hard songs, that song's just like, I don't know what kind of code you have to like decipher in your like head. What kind of like matrix like code you have to see in order to like play that song well, because it's just notes.
Notes.
Like,
I mean, that's how it goes. Yeah. Your brain just has to eventually just be sight reading it. Like that's
Yeah.
all it comes down to.
hmm So that game's still a lot of fun. They also added a new like mode. How the Guitar Hero TV mode is always online and you're always playing against a group of other people. And it was always kind of more like passive. Like you wanted to finish in the top 3 because then you would get more points that you could then upgrade and buy like skins and stuff. But now they added it so that if you like, I think if you finished within X amount of points of somebody else, the next game you'll be matched up head to head with that person. You'll actually see their notes, their note highway,
That's
and their
cool.
score right next to yours. So it's like a versus
It's like a
mode.
rivalry.
Yeah, like it's exactly what it's called. I think it's like rival game start, and then you play that one person. So that's a lot of fun too. So
That's cool that the
It's a
game
cool addition.
keeps updating itself like that. Like,
Yeah.
as soon as you-
How is it doing that?
How can it do
It's
that?
writing its own code. The singularity.
Well, they seem like substantial updates as opposed to just
Yeah,
like,
no,
oh,
yeah,
we added
definitely.
more songs.
yeah, and again, like a lot of that stuff again.
guys-
is-
Oh,
what's
sorry. Go ahead.
a lot of that stuff, like you can say again, like it's like, well, you still have to like you're spending tokens to like play the songs that you want and stuff. But I mean, as just the way that I play it is just, it's like an end of the night thing. I pop it on and just kind of decompress with Guitar Hero. So I'm really, really enjoying all the stuff that they're adding. So,
Have you guys actually heard anything about Rock Band 4?
No.
Like, because I
There is a
keep
news
hearing,
there is a news article.
I keep hearing stuff like this of like, yeah, there's a small little update for Guitar Hero, and I don't really.
I've
hear
I've actually heard
anything
some pretty big updates about.
Yeah,
Rock
I
Band
mean,
as
you
well.
probably just hear because I own Guitar Hero and none of us own Rock Band.
But I still go on the video game
Yeah,
news
yeah,
website.
yeah.
and stuff
I've
like
seen
that. I just
quite a
don't
bit of.
see much.
I've
about
seen quite a bit of updates where they're like, we're finally gonna make it easier to do this thing, or with the downloading all the songs and stuff like that. So they're updating it,
I see.
which they need to do if they're planning on doing their model, which is this is the last Rock Band game you'll ever buy,
Ever.
ever, forever.
Yeah, there's
At least
yeah.
until the next console.
Again, all the updates aren't great. Like they recently added a new like premium show that had Def Leppard on it, and I was like, oh cool, Def Leppard's pretty cool. And then it's like, here's 2 of the new songs from Def Leppard, and they were garbage, and the music videos were like 1991 CGI, but this was like released this year or whatever.
It's retro.
And then they played Rock of Ages to end it. So
Okay.
I was like, all right. But
All is forgiven.
I'm okay with that.
Laurentius, you got anything?
Wait a second.
what?
Didn't you play Final Fantasy Explorers?
Oh yeah, I played a little
What's
bit of
that?
That game is garbage.
What is it?
It's a
You've just been playing so much Final Fantasy stuff. That,
it's a game for
Yeah,
it's,
didn't you say last week you were going to play this game?
Yes.
That's right. Okay.
it's a game for 3DS.
That's
it's
right,
basically
yeah.
it's the way that like people and reviewers have talked about it is like, what if it was like Monster Hunter in Final Fantasy world? And I
So
was
you
like,
were
I
like,
love Monster Hunter.
"Yay."
And then I played it and I was like, this is garbage. Because it's like, do you like the fun like weapon mastering and cool combos and like dynamic action system of Monster Hunter? Well, guess what? You're just gonna mash one button in this game to fight. Also, there's no survival elements to it. It's just like, and it seems like it really wants you to play with other people, which Monster Hunter does too. But like they make it playable and fun if you have if you're just playing by yourself. Final Fantasy Explorers is not fun if you're playing by yourself.
Oh no.
So
bummer.
I don't know. I might try to give it another chance here, but it gave a really poor first impression on me. So I don't know. It was so bad that I wasn't even gonna. I wasn't even gonna mention it.
I knew.
I wasn't gonna
post on Twitter,
disparage it
And I was like,
further.
hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Hmm.
Oh wells. I was
Follow
like,
Ricardo's
I
Twitter
think
disappointments.
you wonder if it's for like a more accessible version
I
of
think
Monster Hunter,
so.
but you're so deep into it, you're like, this is just for babbies.
This is not
maybe,
the
but
real
like, but the thing
experience.
is like I feel like Guitar Hero, Monster Hunter isn't even that hard. Like you
Monster
just
Hunters.
You had to look up a guide for it. Dude.
Yeah, man.
Mm,
That Monster
I
Hunter
suppose.
is inaccessible to people who are
You don't want to go in and like look up a guide and stuff like, that.
like I'm gonna go to a Monster Hunter forum and see what everyone's doing and like
I-
learn about this game.
I don't disagree. Even 4, which is way more accessible than 3 was, yeah, you're still gonna need somebody to help you out with. But I don't know, man. It just takes away everything that's fun about Monster Hunter, really.
I'll give you that. Yeah, certainly.
So, yeah, maybe that's what it is. And maybe if you're a younger audience, or you're really
Younger
into
audiences love Final Fantasy.
really into Final Fantasy, like maybe you'll dig it. But
Does it have Cloud Strife in it?
You can turn into Cloud Strife.
Well, then I gotta buy it.
You can turn into lightning.
Well, then I gotta buy it.
Can turn
and throw
into
it in the garbage.
Squallion Heart.
Then I gotta buy it and throw it in the fire.
And you gotta be the best looking guy here. Have you ever seen that thing with Squall? That's like, you're the best looking guy here, and then it's a close up on his
Yeah, I've seen that.
like 3 pixels of his face or whatever. So yeah, Final Fantasy Explorers, don't do it.
All right.
Not even
Don't.
once.
Not even once.
All right, Laurentius, what have you been playing
Mainly-
besides XCOM 2?
Besides XCOM 2, not too much else. I've gotten down to like a one game at a time kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But something that I haven't picked up in a while, but I still have to talk about the stuff that we didn't on this time, was the changes that came to Destiny after
Oh yeah.
like a couple weeks afterwards. So they had implemented the challenge mode. This is now like 4 months old now. But
Oh,
We got our
right.
Destiny update.
Gotta get our Destiny update.
Gotta get
our
Four,
Destiny update.
4 months later.
4 months later.
None of us have looked into it, so we're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I was actually remembering. I was like, oh yeah, I have Destiny. Should I play that more?
No, you shouldn't.
It's
All right, that's
gotten-
the Destiny update. Moving on.
Yeah, it's kind of gotten into that point where I think it's gonna slowly die out until Destiny 2 comes out.
Okay.
Or whatever they call the
So-
next thing.
Yeah.
Because they did actually go out and just announce like there's no more new stuff. We're just gonna do like
Yeah.
weekly or monthly.
I mean, it's nice of them
small
to do that, but it's
things.
also just like, oh, okay.
Well,
so
then
now I
don't want to
wanna
play your
it
game.
anymore.
Now I don't want to play your game
Yeah.
anymore.
Just
And they
kinda-
had, well, I guess it's in the news. It might be in the news. I don't know if you put it in there, but then the CEO, they had some reshuffling at Bungie.
Oh, I didn't put that in.
That
the
was
news.
the last couple weeks. I can't remember what. Some new CEO now. The other guy stepped down. Some other guys got shuffled out. Like they're clearly like we need to redo some. Some things need to change. Maybe I don't know.
Some things are off. Yeah. Anyway,
I would say though the challenge mode did spark some good like
what's the challenge
challenges.
mode again?
So it's the hard mode. You basically
Oh,
have to
okay.
do certain things. So like you had to kill, say the war priest. You had to kill him in a certain way. Like you couldn't mess up the glyphs.
Like with
and-
your eyes closed.
Yeah, pretty much. Like you had to do the glyphs without messing up. You had to have one person, a brand new person, take the brand every single time, and so like you actually had to learn the fights a lot better.
Well, that's cool. I mean, that's a good way to freshen up kind of an old
Yeah.
raid. I mean, that's what World of Warcraft does a lot because they have the different levels on the one raid, which
Yeah.
kind of freshens it up.
Yeah, and they also kind of went against like a lot of the metas. They're like, "Oh, you've been doing it this way. Well, we're gonna make you do it this way to get your awesome loot." And so it makes it hard, but it makes it worth it because you get such good loots.
It's good.
It's like double.
Are you
double
still
what
playing
usually
it
get.
now?
Haven't logged on in like 2 months.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
keep.
wonder what will happen in 2016 with this because there's some hinting now that they might be delaying
Destiny 2.
whatever Destiny 2
Yeah,
is. It
Destiny
won't be
2,
in
yeah.
like late summer like it seems like everyone was expecting it to be. It might be not even this year possibly. Who knows what?
Yeah.
It's not all
Yeah.
official yet, of course.
It'll
But
come out, but will it come out before Mighty Number 9 comes out?
my number 9 will never come out.
I think they're gonna bleed a lot of players before Destiny 2 comes out. Just with the stuff
and
that's
that's the
coming
thing
out.
is like yeah, at a certain point like like did they risk like losing? People were like, "Oh yeah, that Destiny thing. I used to play that a lot. I don't really want to play the new one." Like you know, what I mean, like if people aren't like still
No,
playing
man.
it, or is it like XCOM 2 where it's like I haven't played Destiny in a while. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna buy the
or
new one.
or is it
and
like Call of Duty where it's like,
The
oh, I
new-
buy this all the time. Whatever, I'll just keep buying it.
I don't think it's
like
that.
it.
I don't think it's quite that level
No,
though,
probably
because
not.
No.
Destiny's a little bit more. I don't want to say hardcore, but Destiny has more. You know, as more. Its fan base is more like in a dedicated like
True.
MMO
Yeah.
style setting than.
Yeah, you need
Definitely.
to put a lot more effort in than your standard like Call of Duty shooter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely not as much name recognition even there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Because like it's not Madden and it's not Call of Duty.
It's not Halo.
Yeah, I think
Even
the big
Halo
thing
is
too
not
is
Call of
that
Duty.
they're concentrating so much on PvP and the streamers that they're not balancing it for the regular guy, and it makes it a little frustrating. Every single time they kind of change the mechanics and change the weapon tuning, it's to like it doesn't go over well for
It's a
the
lot.
normal people.
It's a lot easier to extend the life of a game via multiplayer than it is to extend it single player though.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
that's
campaign.
That's content to make.
that's
Yeah.
what
Some numbers.
that's what they ended up doing with Street Fighter 4 really is that they started catering more towards their competitive and hardcore audience.
That's
and
what they
stop.
seem to be doing with 5 as well.
N-
In a lot
fi-
of, in
honestly,
some ways.
five feels a lot more accessible.
Well, I'm not saying accessibility, but I'm
Oh
saying,
yeah,
like,
but they're definitely
like,
have to
excelling
have a
in
guide
that
to look at
way,
5
so.
though. You gotta look up a guide and you gotta know which monsters to hunt and you gotta know which weapons to use. Like it's
Hunting horn.
ridiculous.
Because didn't
just
they have a Street?
always hunting horn.
Didn't they have a Street Fighter 5 commercial where it was just Evo basically?
Yeah,
Like, so they know
Yeah,
it's like
definitely.
they know they're like, all right, look, we're gonna get the whole thing where you know competition is the cool thing about fighting games. you
But
know?
they're also building a cinematic story mode for this one.
Yeah, but
True,
it's not
but
coming
it's not
out
coming out
until launch,
until like summer.
until like 3 months
Yeah.
afterwards. Which at that point, like the people who are the newcomers, the people who you want, like they talk about accessibility, the people who are like the newcomers, like that's the perfect thing to get a newcomer into a game like that. Is a fighting game is a story mode or something that doesn't require them to go head to head against good good human opponents. and then it's like that's not coming out at launch. So
They're still having arcade mode, but it's not going to be like.
that's not gonna be
Yeah.
like
I mean, that's how fighting games used to be. It's just here's the arcade mode. You get a sword at
sure,
the
but I
end.
think more
Here's
combat
4
really changed that.
pictures that say what the guy did
Yeah, at
after
the
the
end.
tournament.
But I feel like it's really I realized that like we talked about it a couple weeks ago and we were like, oh, it's not that big of a deal because they're because like you don't play a fighting game for the story mode.
Yeah.
And I realized that, but then I was saying, like, talking about like new players and stuff like that. Like,
Mhm.
if you were gonna be like, oh, I hear the new Street Fighter game's out. Like, I'm not really into fighting games. Maybe I'll give this one a shot. Like, the story mode might have been the thing that would have got you to stick around with it for a little bit longer
Mhm.
than.
That could be true.
Yeah, no, there
multiplayer.
still isn't a fighting game that I mean, Killer Instinct had a really good tutorial that actually explained why why you would want to jump in and attack in this situation and why you would want to do this and why you would want to do that. But there's still not a fighting game that really teaches you how to play as you play.
What about that
like-
other one? That giant robot game.
Oh,
Rising Thunder.
Rising Thunder.
Rising Thunder. It's not out yet, I know, but
I
I
heard
mean,
it
that's
wasn't-
kind of
yeah.
aiming for that.
That's what it's aiming for.
Yeah.
that's,
I mean, I think that people still support Rising Thunder and stuff, but it's
Still early.
still pretty early in
Yeah.
its development.
yeah. And it's obviously and that's going for such a beginner level that I think that it didn't get like no one was criticizing it, but people were like, you know, I mean, I feel like it's really aiming for people who are brand new to fighting games and like
Yeah, no,
wanna
you
learn
had
what
a
that
lot
is.
of big names like be like, this game's really great, and it's got the basics right there, and then they go back to streaming, you know,
Yeah.
Guilty Gear Xrd or whatever.
Sign die.
Sign. Yeah.
Anyway, Destiny.
Destiny.
It's exactly like a fighting game and Monster
Yeah.
Hunter.
You punch guys in Destiny.
And you
Destiny.
shoot
Oh,
monsters.
especially as a Titan.
Yep.
Yep.
You
Punch
throw
all
hammers
the
at 'em.
things. Yep.
Well,
nerfed
I
that
thought
hardcore.
we could stop talking about this game now because it's 2016 and the rest of the universe has moved on.
Nope.
Nope.
When I stopped playing when like right before the update hit where it was like Sunbreaker is not gonna be that good anymore. So did you experience any of that or?
Well, the big thing is that that's all PvP,
Uh-huh.
so I don't play PvP. I
Oh,
mean,
there
I'm
you
a
go.
PvEer, so it didn't really affect my Titan.
Mhm.
And my Titan was a defender half the time anyway, so
Gotcha.
it's
I
not
had-
like I really needed that.
I had pretty much gone full Sunbreaker at the end, like my entire build.
You never go
around.
full Sunbreaker.
Nah.
It's fun. You throw the hammers. you
Hammers are fun,
float,
though.
just float around. It's cool. It's fun. The kids like it.
So anything else? Any other games in the last 4 or 5 months since we had you on?
Well, I've been playing Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh yes.
So weird.
I remember that game.
So weird.
Yeah, it's
Once
a weird
upon
game.
a time.
Yeah.
That game is certainly. It's a good game. It is one of my favorite
It is
games
a good
last
game.
year. It is good. It's just it definitely. has
That's another game I recently remembered. I'm like, oh wait, I have that game too.
games. Oh, games. Did you get that on PS4?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember if you had a PS4 at that point or not.
Mhm.
It's all a blur. As far as I know, you've
mean,
always had a PS4.
It's been so long since I played it, can barely remember. But yeah, no, I like that game a lot. How far do you think you are into it?
I'm at like mission 6, so I haven't really gotten too far into it.
Okay.
Oh, we're gonna get
but-
weirder.
Yeah. But I've only like a lot of the times I just spend time doing side missions, and I'm just like
Uh-huh.
going around the sandbox and having fun.
Mhm.
I don't really concentrate too much on the missions.
Yeah. What have you been doing? A lot like sneaking around or just going and blowing stuff up?
A lot of sneaking
Carter
around.
likes shotguns.
Yeah, I
Like
like
it.
shotguns.
I was like, you heathen.
no,
It's not even.
Yeah.
You can't Fulton dead.
Bear.
You can't Fulton dead people.
Bear's my code
And you
name.
can't get Fox rating with dead people.
Who cares? Bear.
Fox.
Yeah, no, the double barrel shotgun in that thing, man. That's where it's at. Oh, you discovered me? Guess what? You're
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 dead.
gonna fly back 20 feet now.
Everyone's like,
They'll
"What was
never
that?"
discover your arm.
Yeah. No, I've gotten really, really good at sneaking up really close and hitting someone about 30 meters away with a tranquilizer gun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that gun has a really good range for being
Yeah.
like a little
And
pistol.
you can
thing.
upgrade to be pretty accurate too later on, like a
Yeah.
laser sight and stuff like that too. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So again, did you play any more Minecraft story mode? Remember you talked about that last time you were on there. Did you
I
ever-
don't think there's been an update since.
I
but
thought there was a
haven't
second
checked.
update. I thought there was a second one.
Oh, there was a second episode.
yeah.
But I think that came out like before year's end, so it's been a while since
Yeah.
I played it.
All right.
But
I want to hear more about that next time you're on. So
definitely, yeah.
check it
I'll
out.
have to- I'll have
You
to-
aren't back on until you play that
That's
game.
it. Get off it.
Yeah, I'll have to replay it
Your
and see
one
if I remember
assignment.
it. But
That's cool. That's cool.
yeah.
I've also been playing games that were out last year. I played Rise of the Tomb Raider. The beginning of that
that
game.
barely counts because that game's so
It was
new.
last year.
Was it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
In November last year, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the PC version came out.
Yeah, it
this
just
year.
came out. The PC version just came out. And that game looks really good on PC.
It's really good.
And except when the lighting is all funky for like, there's this one shot where like, due to some weird reflections and the fact that, despite, let me count, climbing a mountain in a snowstorm, getting thrown off this mountain, and like hitting the sides of walls, getting hit by an avalanche, diving into like sewage style water, getting
Mhm.
attacked by enemy soldiers,
Sewage style
her-
water.
sewage style.
I want my water sewage
Just
style.
Just like the
Yeah.
just like the Ninja Turtles.
Sewer
There's-
surfing.
Her hair is always perfectly glossy. She conditions.
Yeah, I always
Oh,
thought
yeah.
that too. I was like,
It's
what
like-
did she do to her hair?
My wife Amber
L'Oreal.
was like, it's like too. She's got like some oil problem because like there's like way too much. Like it's almost too. Like it's not even just like conditioned. It's like she's got like oil seeping out
Did
of
you
her
have
hair.
Tress Effects on?
Yeah, well, it's not called Tress Effect anymore. FYI,
Oh.
I don't know what it's called, like Pure Hair or
Oh,
something.
see, I don't
like,
think- I
I
don't-
don't remember something like that. But I
Pure
turned it on.
hair.
Okay. That yeah.
It's not as Tress Effects in the original Tomb Raider
made her hair like
was
have
way more
no weight.
way more detailed than this one.
Oh really?
Yeah, but this hair looks more realistic because
It actually clumps together.
because the hair last time was like all individual strands, like individually animated, which made it look very flowy, which is cool. But then like when like it made it look like it's like whoosh, like just like for no reason it would like you go
Yeah.
down you go down an elevator for instance, and it would go like whoa. And it's like that's not how hair
Yeah.
works in an elevator.
Yeah, I turned that stuff off on The Witcher 3 because it had Tress Effects. You can put it on just Geralt, or you can have it on everyone.
Yeah, if you have a really good graphics card. And it looked really weird. It would look cool, but like a cool tech demo, but
Demo.
not necessarily like this doesn't make sense realistically. It's got like similar thing on it now, but it is not quite as individually
That's good.
itemized. So it
That's
doesn't
kind
look
of
quite as
problem.
impressive technology wise, but it does look more like hair. It still has a weird like glow to it, but that's just the modeling. That's not the
Yeah.
So what happened was we were in a room and there's like a light coming in from the window, and then like it was like bouncing off of like a I don't know, like a fuel drum or something like that, and then like so her, like in one position, if you had the camera a certain way, her hair looked bright orange, but
Cool.
like not just like because of like
Ugh.
because of weird lighting, not because it like not
Eating
in
a lot of carrots, huh?
yeah exactly yep. And so yeah, so that was pretty funny. But other than that, actually the game looks amazing and it's pretty fun. I just got to the part where there's like an optional mission where it's like optional missions, learn about these. So it's not very far into the game, but let me ask you this, Ethan. What did you think of? I mean, you beat the whole thing. Like, just in broad terms, did you think it was a better game than the first one?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good for sure. I heard a lot of like games critics especially going like, this is like way better than the first one. It's like so much better, and like,
You're at the beginning, dude.
and I'm like, I don't think it's bad. No, I think it is better, but like it feels very similar. I don't know
It
why
is.
everyone was like. I had people who were like. I heard people who didn't like the first Tomb Raider like, yeah, this one's good, and I'm like, this is so far exactly
It's-
like,
It
like
is.
it is like better playing and like slightly better controlling, but like nothing that would have made
It
me
is
go like
the way the mission structure is in the tomb
Okay.
raiding, because there's actual tomb raiding in this, and there's not a lot of
there
combat.
wasn't the last one.
Barely. There was like nothing.
They were there side
Not
tombs.
not at the same level of
Yeah.
this. This is like full on. Like,
There are so many tombs,
and there's reasons to do them because there's all like you
they
get.
give you, yeah, I did one already. It's like your bow is better now.
It's the gameplay is similar. It's a little bit tighter, but the feedback loop is so much stronger in this game, and just the like you always feel like you're getting something done every time you play it, which is
Yeah.
really awesome. It is a little bit more of the same at the beginning, but then as you get to like the first like hub area, so kind
I
of
feel
where
like
you are
when I
actually,
get to the hub area, I feel like I'm
you're
just
just
about
about there
because they give me
yeah.
this optional mission, but it's still pretty much like I still only have one direction to go, but I feel like after this mission, I feel
about
like it's
there, yeah.
about to
And
go
then
ahead
it
and
turns
open
into,
up.
like everyone has optional missions, and yeah, then it becomes really cool.
Interesting, cool. Yeah, no, I'm having a blast with it, so I don't dislike it because I loved the first one, but it's just interesting to me because everyone was like, this one's so much better, and I'm like, so far, this just seems like more, which was fine with me, but like, yeah, it just seems like a lot of the same, but I do like it a lot. It's really funny how long it takes you to get a gun. You like shoot, like
Yeah,
there were a
I
couple
was
times where it's
weird.
like stealth kill all these dudes, and it's like, we ran around and got spotted, and it's like at the beginning you only have a bow and arrow, and it's actually really tough to kill people with guns when you have a bow and arrow. If you're doing stealth, it's actually really good because it's silent. But then if you don't have anything to shoot them with once the firefight starts, you're just dead. And it's like, they all have guns. Why don't we just grab one of their guns? We can't pick up a gun. You can't pick up a gun until the story says a few like hours later. It's like, okay, now you have a gun.
What happened to when Lara Croft had 2 guns and was backflipping and just shooting 2 guns all the time?
And shooting wolves.
She's almost there.
Shooting
You
wolves.
still shoot
Yeah.
wolves. There's lots of wolves.
Did you have 2 guns in Tomb Raider 1? Was that an upgrade for the pistols to eventually get 2 of them?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
I feel like that should have been.
I didn't play the game long enough to unlock everything.
You didn't play Tomb Raider 1?
No, I. Oh,
You-
like
or-
the original?
No. Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider.
The reboot.
The reboot.
Yeah, I played it. I beat it. I just
Was it-
don't know if I just don't think I upgraded
I'm
it.
trying to remember if there was an
all the
option
way.
to have 2 pistols. I feel like there was. I feel like there must have been.
There might have been. I can't remember.
Yeah,
can't remember.
I got everything in that game. I got everything in Tomb Raider.
You might get everything in this one too.
Yeah.
Because this one.
'Cause it wasn't
side.
that
It was a
long.
little
It,
bit
it wasn't even
crazy.
that hard for me to get everything.
No,
Like,
it's,
it was,
and this
it
one's
wasn't-
not hard either.
Flip
Yeah.
sideways. Flip to the other
Jump
sideways.
jump like twice her body height into
Yep.
the air and do a sideways flip.
shoot,
Those
land
are-
on your feet. Shot, pa, 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 pa.
Let's see what else have I been playing. More The Witness.
Witness. What do you
Guys.
think of that?
Guys.
Did you get
Is
your
it-
notepad out yet?
Guys.
Is
Your
it?
notepad out?
Guys.
Is it Jonathan blowing your mind?
I hate The Witness.
You hate it?
I hate it. And it's really good.
Is it a
But
good
I-
hate? Is it like I hate XCOM?
No, it's getting it's more it's not like that, but it's not like I hate it, like I don't want to play it ever. It's just more I get very frustrated with
Is it like screw you?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like
the-
you figure something out, you're like, that was it. Screw you.
it's hard for me to say without just like spoiling a puzzle. Let me try and give you one example here. But there's environmental clues a lot of times for how to solve certain puzzles. Not every single puzzle is like this, but like just as an example, in some occasions, in some areas, it's like, oh, to solve these set of puzzles, look around you and something on the wall or some like shape will give you a clue about how you're supposed to do this. And so like this area, I'm like, oh, this is a cool area. I really like how it's using the environment. It's fun. And I get to the last puzzle, the very last puzzle of this area, and it just like changes that rule set. It's still like following that rule set, but then just like throws a twist in there that feels just like a like it just felt like a middle finger in terms of just like yeah, but this one's different, and I'm not gonna explain because there's no tutorial or nothing. There's no anything in that game. There's like I'm not gonna explain why it's different. So we eventually just started cheating because like yeah,
guides.
I get like way too frustrated with games. Surprise. To like I like when I'm playing games, I don't want to be frustrated by them generally. So especially.
So you shouldn't play The Witness.
Yeah, I do like it though. It's the thing. It's like I do like that when I solve a puzzle, it is fun and it makes me feel smart to say like, oh,
Yeah.
I solved this puzzle and I solved this thing. There are times though where I've just been like, I've stared at this puzzle for like an hour and there's been situations where it's like this has been 30 minutes of me at this puzzle now. I cannot figure it out, and then I go back like, okay, maybe I gotta like go to a different area and do that. And I'm like, okay, I did some stuff. I come back to this puzzle. Nope, still can't figure out this puzzle. I'm still stuck. And there's some to a certain point where it's just like, for me, I would rather. It's not even like looking up the answers. We definitely did that for 1 or 2, but it was more just like I just want to know what the
thing
process is. Yeah, because there's 2 situations that I've gotten into. One of just like I'm staring at this thing, and I don't even know what it's asking me to do at all. And that's annoying. Where it's just like I don't want you to tell me the answer. I do want to figure this out myself. I just want to know. What is the method? Like, it's like a math problem. It's like if you'd never gone to school and someone just gave you a long division problem, it's like, just solve this. It's like, I don't know what these symbols mean. What do I do? Like, what do I do? Like that kind of thing. Where it's like, oh, like, well, here's how you solve a long division problem. Okay, well, now I can give me a new problem and I'll know how to solve that. Now you've told me how to do it.
You just made a comparison of this game with math, and
Yeah.
so I'm less interested.
Yeah,
in this
exactly.
game.
Well, that's kind of how I'm feeling about some of these
Okay.
puzzles because it's kind of like that, where it's like here's a problem. You don't know you don't know what the process is to fix it, and then there's the other frustrating thing is
Just-
like the other frustrating thing is like okay, now I've figured out how to do long division. I figured out how to do these kinds of this puzzle with the weird shapes in them. I know how to do those now, and this one is different, and I'm not gonna explain what that is either, or more frustrating. Of like, I know what this is, I know what to do here, but it won't let me do it. Like that kind of thing. Or like the solution is not as immediately obvious. But like the one I was talking about, there's a cool environmental puzzles on the walls, around you, surroundings, whatever you want to say. Then there's like, oh, a piece of this clue is missing, and you just have to like look around and find it somewhere. It's on the floor or something like that. Like it's not like as part of the rest of the puzzle. It's like I have to take this small thing over here, and then like that's not just a part of the environment. Like it's something very small that you would just think that's just a texture, and it's like nope, that's actually a piece of this over here, which I now have to like visually like look at and go, if I put that there, that would mean that would make this shape, and that's what I have to do to solve this now. So it's just like it's just a really challenging game, and some people really love like really hard puzzles like that. I do like challenging puzzles, like I loved Portal games for instance, but those I felt like gave you more of the tool set you needed to solve things. Whereas this is similar to, you guys remember when Fez came out and everyone was talking about all the secret stuff in Fez?
Yeah.
It's similar to that. Of like it explains nothing and it expects you to just do the work to figure it out. And yes, I have gotten out paper and drawn on paper to try and figure out puzzles. And it gets to that point where it's like I am not that sort of person. I don't want to be the person who has to take out a piece of paper to play a video game. Like I like puzzles, but I'm not
that much into puzzles.
I'm not that much into this, and I'd rather just I want to see, because apparently this game goes places and gets kind of weird in some ways, and I want to kind of see some of that stuff. So I did look up one or two. We did look up one or two solutions, or like ways to like here is the explanation of the mechanic. Like that is more so what I was looking for in most of the cases.
Yeah, it sounds like actually similar to what we were talking about earlier. The game trains you how to play it, but then suddenly it's just like you're not playing it that way anymore. Now you're playing it this way, and we haven't taught you how to do that at this point. Or
I'm probably just being butthurt about it. The game does a very good job of teaching you in a lot of its ways.
All right.
But there are definitely, it's definitely where it's like, the game does this thing a lot where it's 5 puzzles in a row, and those are almost always like teaching stations for like, the first one of those puzzles is like literally there's only one way to ever do it. Like you can just there's like a straight line and boom, you can only complete the puzzle. And the second way is like, oh, technically there's like 2 ways to do this version now, but because of this modifier that's in it. Like the modifier was in the 1 and the 2, but the 1 you had to only do it one way anyway. And it's like, oh, okay, well if I do it this way, it like, oh, okay, that explains the rule set. And then it's like the third one gets a little bit harder, fourth one gets a little bit harder, fifth one gets a little bit harder. So occasionally, it's so that by the time you get the 5th one, you've theoretically like figured out how that puzzle concept works. The issue is that like sometimes they'll do another set of 5, and that second set of 5 is now teaching you a second concept, and it starts you out with the first concept again, and then like by the time you get to the 5th one, it's like, and now a different thing, and it's like, oh great, so now I have to do this complex thing that I've only just learned how to do, and it's like you're layering a second mechanic on it that I don't even know what this mechanic is yet. I have to now stare at this thing for a while, or play around with it. And then the game does another thing that's really dumb, which other people have complained about, which is that you get a puzzle wrong, and then it like deactivates that puzzle, and you have to do the previous puzzle that you did again to get that second one. It's to prevent you from brute forcing certain puzzles. There are certain puzzles in the game where it's like there are 5 possible solutions to this puzzle. If I just sit here and just do 1, fail, do 2, fail, do 3. Oh, 3 was it. That was the one I can get. Like so, it's to prevent you from doing that, but it's still really annoying when it happens. When you're just like honestly, just like maybe it's this one. And it's like, oh no, that was wrong. And I have to go literally walk physically, because it's not like just go to the next screen. It's like, no, I have to go walk over 10 feet now to the other puzzle, do the solution that I already knew.
This sounds like butt.
That makes sense.
I'm making it sound worse than it is.
It makes it sound not fun. It just makes it sound not fun, and that's never what you want a game to be.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that I think a lot of people really love this game for good reason, because I think it is a well-made game, but if you are not into sitting and figuring out really complex puzzles,
then don't even come anywhere near
this game. I want to keep playing it because I want to see what the crazy stuff is. I've heard there's some weird, like, philosophical / like,
I have a feeling
stuff in it.
I just have a feeling you're gonna be so disappointed by what it is.
Yeah, probably.
Like I could just
The
feel
build-up
it.
is
I don't
not-
know why.
I've already heard that people are disappointed by it. So
you're just already ready to be disappointed.
yeah, I'm not disappointed. I'm not looking for it to be like, oh, I want to see how
so good.
crazy this, like how amazing this stuff is. just more like I want to see what it is, because everyone dances around it.
Mm.
Because I don't want to just go listen to a big spoiler thing. Because I also too, what is honestly cool is that the island physically changes. So like again, I can't say stuff without spoiling, but I have experienced a few things where it's like, oh, I did this puzzle, and oh wow, that just like something just happened. Like this is now different. Like
Cool.
this is now different, and that's cool to see that stuff of like, wow, this is now new thing. And then there's apparently audio logs in this game too. I haven't seen a single one, but apparently they're in this game, which is weird. Well, it only sounds weird because like if you play the game, it's just completely empty. There's nothing in it. There's no animated characters. There's no, like your character doesn't even show up on screen.
like child.
And what else? Oh yeah, just like some cool stuff that like this is one. I'll spoil it. There's a fast travel system in the game. It's a boat.
Whoa.
And I went up to this this dock. I'm like, what's this puzzle at the end of this dock? And the puzzle is just the shape of a boat. And you just draw the boat shape, and the boat just appears out of the water.
Whoa.
And then you get on the boat, and the puzzle, like everything you do is a puzzle. Like the puzzle to in order to get to different areas of the island is a map of the island. You just draw the line to what area you want to go to, and then it just drives the boat there. And then you can increase the speed of the boat by changing by doing a line puzzle to make the boat go faster. So it's just like it's cool stuff like that where it actually interacts with the physical aspects of the game. Kind of cool. So it is a good game. I'm complaining about it right now because I'm not good and I'm dumb and I'm not smart. I'm not a smart person. I'm not good at puzzle games. Man. So
that sounds like how I was when I first started playing Kerbal Space Program.
Okay. Yeah.
Especially in like the 0.5 version where they didn't have everything ironed out quite yet.
Kerbal Space Program. That's an interesting way to say it.
Is it
I like that?
I think it's Kerbal.
He said it
Might
Kerbal.
be Kerbal.
Kerbal.
You say Kerbal.
Cabal.
I say Kerbal.
The Space Cabal. It
sounds more
Cabal.
Russian.
Cabal.
No, it's because they're descendant from because he's played too much Destiny. They're descendant from the Cabal.
I played way too much Destiny.
Right.
Cabal Space
This is
Cabal.
what
That's how they got to Earth.
The
Is
Kerbals.
the Cabal Space Program.
Eventually, they evolve into these big hulking
Yeah,
guys.
this is
like,
this is the start of their evolution of
Yeah.
them getting off their own planet.
Yeah, under all that armor, it's just a bunch of little
little
guys
green
with
guys.
weird eyes.
Man,
always
it changed
smiling.
everything.
Just always
Yeah.
smiling.
My lord.
Matt, here's a hint. Go to in the second timeline, there's a picture, and there on the side of the picture there's gonna be symbols, and then you do this. You go to the first timeline, you rewire, and then you put it.
Timeline? Are you talking about?
And then you put up in the thing, and you try.
Mike hit you again.
And
It wants you to stop
you
talking.
put in the thing, and it shows you the symbols, and you gotta match the symbols that are on the picture, so that like you get the guy to work again. And
I
then
think
he
you're
does
talking about.
different
I think you're talking about
symbol.
Broken Age, but there's no timelines in Broken Age.
The timeline.
I wouldn't call those timelines.
The second
The
timeline.
characters, I think, is.
The second character's consciousness. That
Yeah.
game sucked.
Yeah, so no, The Witness doesn't suck. I just suck at it, and therefore I'm not enjoying it as much as I hoped I would. But
That's a bummer.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna keep playing it. I'll keep plugging away. I don't think it's gonna be the game where I like beat it anytime soon. I'll probably just keep coming back to it like once a week, do a little bit, and
Like eating your vegetables.
yeah, exactly.
Once a week.
Trying to eat healthy once a week. Eat the vegetables.
Vegetables.
Health.
That often?
I know.
Uh,
Crazy, right?
Last week or it was 2 weeks ago now, we had to talk about Brussels sprouts versus broccoli.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
is the worst vegetable? It's Brussels sprouts.
No.
Oh, it's
Uh,
definitely Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely Brussels
Yep,
sprouts.
that's
What?
the one.
Who was
Ricardo
the one that
loses.
was on my side?
Amber.
Amber.
She's not here.
Yeah, she's not
Amber.
here.
We got rid of her.
Where are you?
She
You've
doesn't
forsaken
and she doesn't
me.
listen to the podcast.
Damn
it.
All
All right. So that's all the games. You know what I booted up, Ethan? This is just for you. Shogun 2 Total War.
Oh man, that game's great.
We should play a co-op campaign.
So it doesn't work again?
Let's do. It'll work now.
It's
I
been
don't
so
know,
far
it's been
removed. It might
so,
not
it's been
work.
so long. It'll work. It'll totally work.
That game's great.
I saw John was playing that recently
John
too.
loves those games.
He was like, I think he just likes it because there's like a Shiba Inu, isn't it? The hunting dog looks like a Shiba Inu. or
Yeah, yeah.
whatever.
He like posted a picture
Yeah.
of that on Facebook
So
or
I'm
something
like,
that.
I feel like this is the sole reason why he plays it.
No, he's always liked those games though.
Those games are good. I also got Attila because they're having a
Oh, I saw
uh,
those.
Chinese New Year sale on Steam right now, and
You're the monkey man.
$11 for Attila Total War. So I was like, I'll get that.
Yeah,
I haven't played it yet, but
I really want to see Total War.
Total War.
Or what is
Total
it called?
Warhammer.
Total Warhammer. It's Warhammer
Total
War.
No, it's Total Warhammer.
Actually, it's Total War Warhammer, I believe.
no, it's Total Warhammer.
They
to
should
me.
just. Why didn't they just call
Because
it Total
that
Warhammer?
is now that you're merging two brands. You can't.
But they are merging two brands.
No, they're not. They're just doing a licensed game. Like that's
Yes. I want to play that game though. That game
yeah,
seems
like,
really
that
cool.
game that seems cool. And I'm excited for that too.
But yeah, we should.
But I just want to see if it works. I'm gonna
Yeah,
stream.
we'll
I
try.
by the way, this week I am gonna stream some Total War.
I've
I don't
been
know
wait-
which
Yeah.
I don't know which game I'm gonna stream yet. It might be Shogun. That's why I booted it back up again. Cause I was like, that was like my favorite for a while. But I really like Rome 1, and I really wanted to like
Rome
Rome.
1's so old though.
I know so it's so old. So that's why I really wanted to like Rome 2 when that came out, and it didn't quite work
What
as
about
well
Medieval
for
2?
me.
Medieval 2 was really great.
Medieval 2 was great, but Rome 2 apparently got a bunch of huge free updates that I never really went back to it after that part, and it apparently got a lot better. So I was like, maybe I should play that. And then Attila was on sale, so I got that, and so I'm like, I got 3 games to choose from which one I'm going to stream.
I think Shogun 2 was their best, like, newest one. Probably.
Because that one, it was so simple because it was such a smaller
area.
and all the factions were basically the same with just some minor modifications on their stats. Like as opposed, like they all have the same. You have the same units. It made the single player really fun, but it also made the multiplayer really balanced because it's like everyone has the same pool of units. Just
Samurai.
yeah, just like what buffs do you want to bring to your
Yeah.
table kind of thing, and it's kind of made this really cool rock paper scissors format where it's like spears beat cavalry, cavalry beats
Oh yeah, like my favorite
bows,
3DS
and bows
street passing
beat
game.
bows beat. Yes, yeah, basically that. Bows
It
beat infantry, and infantry beats bows and spears. Like it's just kind of this really cool.
Yeah, they simplified it, and it was really nice.
Yeah.
It's too bad the co-op campaign for some reason did not
Tried
want
it
to
for
work.
so long. We'll try it again.
We'll try it again,
I think it'll
I'll
work.
reinstall it.
Tomorrow night I'm not doing anything, so if you wanna, if you
I
wanna
might
try.
be busy tomorrow
All
night.
right, fine,
Maybe Wednesday.
fine.
All right, let's not discuss our
Anyway,
plans.
Total War. It's a cool game series. That's all I gotta say. What's on the
I
news?
wasn't prepared. I gotta
Oh well.
What comes
Quick,
after?
kill time.
Hey, bye.
What do you guys?
It's not a lot of
what do you guys-
news, so.
what do you guys gotta?
I will-
It's January. Oh no, it's not.
It's February.
It's February. What do you want?
February.
Is this a leap year?
Street Fighter.
Is this a?
Yes,
It is a leap year,
It
yes.
is.
So we got extra days.
One extra day. Is it one extra day? It's one extra day, right?
One extra day.
It's one extra. day.
Man,
All right,
It's
so
one
we're
extra
so
day.
privileged. Check
What-
your privilege.
what are you
Ethan.
saying?
Don't just be like, well, it's the only one.
So I remember. So you're talking about the what was the place? Bungie that was reorganizing their studio and stuff. Well,
Bungie.
as someone who is talking off of a Mad Catz fight stick, using
Uh-huh.
I'm talking about that. I'm using that to record. Yeah,
Yeah.
this Mad Catz fight
No,
stick
he's
records
using the
really high
box.
quality.
But Mad Catz, their CEO resigned the day before and chairman resigned the day before their earnings report came out.
Oh, telling.
Yeah.
Which is like, so but they
I
said
wonder if they had some sort of partnership with us with a certain franchise.
They did, and it
that
was Rock Band.
didn't work out too well.
and it didn't go as well as they thought it would have.
Mm.
So yeah, they said at one point, let's see, it was
Who's is
they
it
need
Mark?
the-
What's his name?
Mark Man?
Mark Van?
No, I
is he
think
the CEO
he's
or
just the.
like,
I
is he
think he's just a big spokesperson.
Okay.
Right?
It was who resigned. It was Darren Richardson, longtime president. I think he's been there for a long time. I think it's like
Yeah, Mark Man's just
14
kind of the
years?
guy who goes to all the conventions. He's like, check it out. Here's a shirt. Want to see my hot Asian girlfriend?
Does he say that? That'd be weird.
He says it all the time.
Wow.
Quoted for
It's rather-
truth.
It's rather sexist.
Quoted for truth.
So what was it? He held his position in 2004, so he's had it for like 12 years. But last summer, Mad Catz notified investors that needed Rock Band 4 to be a big success to help stabilize the company's finances. So I have a feeling that Rock Band 4 didn't do as well as they'd hoped.
Womp, womp, womp,
Should have got in on that rock
womp.
or that Guitar Hero controller as well. You know, should have worked on that.
You gotta diversify your portfolio.
Yeah, you gotta work on multiple controllers. So
Look
You know,
away, they got the fight stick.
yeah, I was gonna say, considering they have their, one of the leading brands of fight sticks and stuff like that, it's
And-
kind of a bummer to see that they're kind of, not doing so well. And
They'll be
I mean,
okay.
they might be okay.
I
but-
feel like it might just have been, because think about what Mad Catz was like in the N64 era,
They were
and
garbage.
like
Trash.
how far they've come. It's everything expands, and then they have to cut back and then expands and then comes back. So
Yeah.
I feel like Street Fighter 5 that they have like the direct tie-in with all that, so
That's true.
they'll
That'll
be
help.
Yep, and I gotta say, this box is very high quality.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
You know
it's
what I
holding
mean?
I don't see any dip.
How
in that
much was this,
microphone.
Ricardo?
$80.
$80. So the best microphone experience I've ever had, only $80.
Only $80.
If you want to get your
It's
microphone,
relatively cheap, actually.
what would you guys say? 6 inches off the ground. If you want to get your microphone 6 inches off the ground.
6 inches.
If you want to get your microphone 6 inches off the ground, can't recommend enough. Mad Catz PlayStation Street Fighter Fight Stick Alpha,
Pretty good.
$80.
$80.
Get your microphone 6 inches off the ground.
There you go.
That's the best value you can get.
So
Don't use
Mad
it for the fight
Catz.
stick though.
Mad Catz, if you need a new
Spokesperson.
person,
Even though that guy didn't get fired.
Matt Man.
Matt Man.
Matt Man.
Batman.
No, 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 no.
Oh man, that'd be.
Master Boot.
Ma-
Master Boot.
Master
Matt
Matt.
Atkinson.
Master Matt.
My Akushi.
No,
Oh,
that's
my-
not my first name.
Wait,
He
wait.
says Master Bruce,
you're
not
right.
Master Wayne.
Master Matt. Master
Master
Matt.
Mafu.
Master Matt.
Master Matt.
What do-
Mafu.
What do we
Why
do
is he?
when we fail at a witness puzzle?
Why do we?
We get really mad and throw the controller.
I don't throw controllers. Don't
okay.
slander me, sir.
Sorry.
Yo,
We get
Jacob.
really mad.
I
and yell a
fully
lot.
admit that I get mad when I play video games, but I do not throw
Yo,
controllers.
Jacob and Robert Marley.
Also, Splatoon sucks with motion
Ah.
controls. It sucks.
I thought my controller was gonna go across the room, but I
It
knew he never did that in the
sucks.
past.
No, man, I take care of my crap.
I know.
I pride
That's what I
myself on
said.
having really
I
good.
felt like it could have happened. but I knew it wouldn't.
Just to clarify, didn't you say you tried it without the motion controls
I
and then
hated it.
turned it back on?
Yeah, I like the motion controls.
There's no way to do it. You can't change it. Wait. Pause.
No, there's no way to
start.
do it.
Oh, look, there it is right there.
Use motion controls off.
All right, moves. More news.
More
News.
news.
The news.
See-
Sad for Mad Catz. Hopefully they bounce back.
Hopefully it will.
Matt Catz. I'm sorry, a new
Bounce
company's
back.
called Matt Catz.
Hopefully they land on their feet.
They always do.
Good night, everybody.
Because
All right.
they're mad.
It's time to chill out with some Blizzard news.
Ah,
Yeah, I'm gonna spike the audio, and you're wearing headphones, and I'm not.
Yeah, it hurts.
Is there a
also
storm coming?
Yeah, definitely not Heroes of the Storm
wasn't
though.
good enough.
Aw.
So, Blizzard is planning it to drop their old cards from Hearthstone, which is interesting.
I see.
Oh,
They
yes.
have a vision for the future. An Activision?
Oh, man.
StarCraft.
So it's getting.
Hearthstone.
Wait, when are they gonna do the StarCraft card game? That'd be pretty cool. Am I right?
That would be
no,
pretty
I'm
cool.
not right.
Aw.
I'm wrong. You shouldn't agree with me.
So they're getting rid of the Curse of Naxxramas cards and Goblins vs. Gnome expansions. They're cutting those because this is kind of what happens in a lot of any trading card game. I know that the CCC
CCG.
or a living card game because I know the old Netrunner cards are
A
disappearing.
Game of Thrones, a living card.
where they just completely, Fantasy Flight just threw out that entire box. And they're like, all
Yeah.
of these are garbage. Let's put a whole new game out.
Well, they also did that for. I mean, even I think Netrunner does like cycles, right?
They
he
do
was
cycles.
just saying-
They're
It's
getting.
like-
They get rid of there's cycles. They get rid of all the deluxe cards are always going to be viable in the deluxe
and they cost
expansions.
more, right?
Yeah, you get more of them though, so it's like a big expansion. So the little expansions though, those get cycled out. I think after like 2 years, I can't remember. I haven't been keeping up, so I have a lot of useless cards now.
Gotta keep buying.
You gotta keep buying, but
Same
it's
thing-
also because they gotta work with like older
It's all hard
cards.
it's all hard
It's
to
really
game
hard to
balance.
balance that
If you
stuff.
got 2,000 cards, you gotta balance for.
Yeah, so this is not super crazy, but it's interesting. The cool thing that they're doing is there's a wild format as well. They're keeping the standard
Like
format, which
Magic.
is like the casual, ranked, friendly mode challenges, all that stuff. But now they have a wild card where you can keep all your old cards that you got from Curse and Naxxramas and Goblins vs. Gnomes expansion, which is cool because then you can just be like, oh, I'm gonna play with my goofy Annoyatron card or whatever. And I think that's cool. I think
Yeah,
that's a really
one
neat
thing that I heard that someone was bummed about is that they're not even going to be selling the old obsolete cards anymore. They're going to like remove them from.
I think that's kind of lame, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's like the end of the world. I'm just saying like I could see the argument for saying like, oh, you will never be able to get those again if you didn't have them already. Like they will be forever lost.
Especially
in
'cause
terms
there's-
of like a new player trying to come in.
Yeah,
and, like,
especially
even the
'cause-
single player content I think is going to be gone.
'cause there's no
like, from those DLCs.
There's no
oh, okay.
and there's
Wow.
no
Yeah, you
trading.
won't be able to buy that DLC anymore.
That's
that
kinda weird.
That DLC will just be not available.
That seems kind of silly.
So
Especially because there's no trading mechanic either, so it's not like, oh, I've got 2 of these 1 rare cards. You want another one?
yeah,
So you
exactly.
can't-
There's no way to give it to a friend or anything like that
Yeah.
either. So yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's like this is going to be removed from the store. So the DLC that came with these cards will not be available either. Or more accurately, these cards came with a DLC pack, and that DLC pack is not going to be available.
It's good that
anymore.
they're allowing someone to use this though, because you can imagine like paying all that money on
Yeah,
like goblins
and
and
then-
gnomes, and then being like, oh, all your cards are gone, and be like, what the, you know?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
It kind of makes it more like more like Magic, for instance,
Yes,
which
yeah,
does have a bunch
absolutely.
of banned and stuff like that
Unusable
cards, but you
cards.
could just play with your friends and
Yeah.
just
and the Pokemon.
It
trading card
definitely
game.
feels
Yeah.
like a turning point into what like the future of Hearthstone going forward is going to be. You're going to see more of a seasons kind of feel for it, more and less of like what it currently is, and it's just a big free for all with like
I think that's nice
all
though.
these cards that just are constantly changing. Like
because I want to get back into it sometimes, but then I'm like,
yeah,
I
there's
don't know,
just so much.
stuff now.
There's so much, and then it's like, yeah, it's like. If you want to build this really great deck, you need these cards from this one, and this card from this one, and this card from that one too. So like now they're kind of
Probably gonna
streamlining it a little bit
Yeah.
more. And definitely you feel that way too with the way even the new expansions are kind of introducing new cards that people are like really hating. Like, did you hear about the whole Reno Jackson card? Like there was this
at Hearthstone.
yeah, there was like this one card that was introduced in the League of League of Explorers called Reno Jackson, and basically, like I forget whether it was he trades like life bars with people or something like that. If you're down to this amount like of health, and you get to play him, like he switches life bars with your opponent or something like that.
Man,
It's like a
super
really
powerful.
like yeah, so it's kind of people are having to build whole decks to like just combat this one card or whatever like that. And you were saying Blizzard kind of adjust cards strengths and like change the text on them to do different things and stuff, but I think it's feeling much more like a traditional card game now, where it's just like we're just cycling out cards that don't work, like that don't really work anymore. And
Also, now you gotta buy new cards.
yeah, that too.
What a coincidence.
Yeah, so I like it, but at the same time I don't like it. Like I have mixed feelings about it. Yeah.
Man, feelings are complicated. Am I right?
Yep.
That's why you just don't
The
have any.
Witness, card games,
Card games.
some other third thing. Do you guys see that Pokemon commercial during the Super Bowl?
Yep.
During the big game?
Sure made me want to go play Pokemon, I guess.
The like you could do that. I could do that. I actually thought it was pretty decent.
You know what that
commercial.
reminded me of though?
What?
The Star Trek remake where he's like, I can do this! I can do this! I can do this! I can do this! Triangulating! Maybe the first kid said
That's not what I thought.
The first little kid said this, I was like, oh, yeah, that's funny.
For some reason, yeah, I thought it was a cool trailer.
Or
It wasn't
not
really.
trailer. I mean, cool.
Yeah, that's the
thing.
thing. It's 'cause
Advertisement is
it wasn't really advertising anything.
Pokemon.
Really.
It
It
was
was
just
just
saying,
like
"Hey,
20th
Pokemon."
anniversary. You're old now.
It seems like one of those commercials that's going to run once and once only.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it kind of was. I mean, it's on YouTube now,
Not
too.
with
so
the
you can-
internet.
Yeah.
It'll
I
be
mean, all the
around.
commercials were on the YouTube, like, the day before anyway, so it didn't...
Yeah, because I actually didn't watch the game, so I saw it on. The
I was
internet
working.
only.
Oh, am I the one who watched it? Did you watch it?
Wait, why would you watch the
I
Super
was
Bowl?
playing a hockey game.
Oh.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh, that's weird. I don't feel right being the one
Yeah,
watching
look
this.
at you watching the sports.
I
like a
listen-
bro.
I listen-
I was getting food. I was eating food and drinking beer though. So.
I listened
Yeah,
to like
fair.
the first half like on the radio, and then
I
went
watched
home and
I
was
watched
like,
the last
It was an okay
part
game.
because
There's
no
some-
one was in the mall. The entire store was
Of course.
empty. And it was just like I'm getting paid to stand here. This is fun.
That's always the best.
Yeah. It was pretty nice. And then I was like, I'm getting paid to sit in the back and watch football. And now I'm going to go home 30 minutes early because no one is here.
yeah, I
And
went
then-
home like an hour early.
Yeah. So that was fun. And then I was like, and then I left and the game was like about to end. Like, so I was like, I could stay here and finish the rest of this game.
I just want to go home.
I don't
Especially at the
know.
end, you're like, I know
I
who's
don't-
gonna win.
I don't, and I don't care enough about either of those. Like,
Yeah.
football is the only sport that I probably do care about, but I
Uh-huh.
don't care about either of those teams. So I was just like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm
See,
just gonna-
football's the sport like I care least about. I
Yeah.
might get into it now that LA has a team, but that's about it.
Again.
Rams.
Rams
Yeah.
again.
Go Rams.
Go Rams.
Do you remember when the Rams were originally in LA?
I did.
Wow.
I remember.
Yeah.
The won't bet it.
Did you
Oh,
really
God.
remember that? I mean, like
Yeah.
that was like they left. It
I
like the
remember
early
going
90s.
to like Angels games and being like, look at all this Rams gear in the stadium too.
Yeah, I remember having being pretty into the Rams
Yeah.
when I was a kid.
My family is not thrilled with this because we're all 49ers fans and the Rams are one of the division rivals, and so they're like we're just like F those guys. We don't like them at all. But it's
That's
a
a
bigger
sad
bigger
story.
deal when they were in LA because that like those games were more like local. It's like
Local.
they're in
beefs.
the, they're in
Smart
they're,
rivalries.
the Rams are part
Yeah.
of the NFC West and they're in Missouri. It's a little bit
Yeah.
less like that's not West. That's like almost East. Like,
That's how I feel was the Nashville Predators in the Western Conference,
yeah.
and they're in Tennessee.
That
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you
It's
doing?
like, this is not how divisions work. Speaking of divisions, the division. No, we already talked about that stuff.
Yeah.
What else is in the news? Is that it? Are we done?
No. So
no.
this is
Pokemon.
something
No.
happened. So Microsoft's been doing this thing where they've been just releasing
Something happened. That's the update.
backwards compatibility
For games.
for games. They're just like instead of announcing it, they just like it
Just do
appears
it.
it's here. So over the weekend, Red Dead Redemption popped up. And they're like, oh, everyone's like, oh,
my God, we love this
game. And everyone's losing their mind.
John Marston.
And then they're like,
John
oh,
Marston.
oh, we didn't mean to put that up.
Oh man.
And then-
And then they're like, oh yeah, it's coming, but it'll come later. So this happened with apparently this happens a lot. It happened with Halo Wars, Castlevania Symphony of the Night,
And
and
I was
Tekken
so
Tag
dying to play
Tournament
Halo
2.
Wars.
I know. Well, the second one's coming out. I gotta get ready for that. Yeah, I just think that's really funny that they just removed it because of a mistake. They apologize for it, and they say they have no word when it's coming back.
They really John Marston did.
John Marston did.
It's
Looks
a
like they
joke
really need to
that
have
no
a
one
redemption.
gets. It's a joke that no one
I know,
gets.
no one gets. Speaking of Halo Wars, since that came up, I have to bring up this. I remember when they announced Halo Wars 2, I made a joke on the internet about who gives a shit, and then immediately got chastised by everybody who follows me. It was like, I really liked Halo Wars. I'm like, nobody liked Halo Wars when it first came out. Come on, don't direct around.
If I seem to recall the reaction to Halo Wars of being like, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But nobody was like, oh my god, Halo Wars. It's the same thing with Mirror's Edge, where everybody was like, Jesus, Mirror's Edge 2. It's like everybody was like, that game is okay.
Yeah,
it would be great.
everyone
If
was-
there was no shooting in this game, but there's a lot.
I
so
think
screw
I think
it.
everyone's excited for the second one mostly because they see the potential of how much better the second
Yeah,
one
like,
would
I
be.
think that's what
Yeah.
it is, especially with
You're
Mirror's
right.
Edge. I think
You're
because
right.
there's a lot
Especially
of promise in Mirror's Edge 1.
Uh-huh.
It was just not as
Just
great
didn't
on the
execute.
delivery.
Didn't quite get there.
Yeah.
Well, it's because the technology quite wasn't there.
Yeah, and
That's true.
they relied a little bit too much on shooting and
Yeah,
combat
punching
stuff.
and
yeah.
stuff.
Because it's DICE. You'd think they'd be good at that. They're not. That's all I got for news. Anyone else got anything that maybe I forgot to mention?
Game Trailers website has announced that they are shutting down after 13 years. of
Oh,
operation.
really?
Wow.
When how did you miss that?
Look, man, I was at work doing this.
All right.
So yeah, because apparently,
Wow, man, game
YouTubes and-
trailers. That's not cool.
I
yeah,
really like game trailers.
I know.
Where am I
right?
gonna get my game trailers now?
Where am I gonna get my retrospectives? Those are really
Where am I
good.
gonna get screw
And
attack?
honestly, their
No,
Oh, is
their
it?
reviews
Okay,
are
well.
actually really well written, and then that voiceover guy is great.
yeah. I fully admit that's pretty much the only reason I'd ever go to game trailers is listen to see the latest video review with that cool voiceover. That's
Yeah.
Well,
That
that guy will
sucks.
find a way to get a job. That sucks. What was the reason they're closing? Just too much, not financially solvent.
I'm guessing.
yeah, it looks like it.
They didn't
had
change their
been-
business model, I don't think, a whole ton. And
No.
then Jeff Keighley obviously did the Game Awards stuff. And I think game trailers at some point had a part in that, but they do not anymore.
Yeah,
with
they
the
used
current...
to get all the trailers that were coming to the Game Awards.
Yeah, I don't.
first.
But I don't know. Jeff Keighley doesn't work there anymore, right? He hasn't for
I don't
a little
think
bit,
so.
right?
I don't
So,
think so.
and I don't think the Game Awards or Video Games X or whatever it's called anymore
Well-
is no longer connected to the game trailers.
Well, I
anymore.
mean,
Yeah.
this might speak to the to the financial state of it, but I remember when game trailers did the partnerships with Spike to actually televise E3s, like the E3 press conferences on TV during the day, like back in the
I remember
day.
that.
That
I
was
remember
like
because like it always happened to be when I was like off of school, and so I was just like wake up early in the morning, pop on Spike TV, and be like, "Oh my God, it's E3! Oh God,
It's
look at
video
all-
games.
Look at all these games! Oh God! Oh, Peter Molyneux's on stage. What is he gonna tell me about? Cool stuff! I can't wait to play that game."
But it's gonna be just like you said it was.
He shot my husband.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah. It looks like it's a little bit sudden because the Ben Moore, the associate editor, they had said that he was kind of in shock, and they just found out today. So
Oh, wow.
kind of
that's sucky.
that
so
kinda cuts the
whatever
core.
business I don't know who owns games. Defy Media.
Defy Media, yeah, they
Yeah,
purchased
they-
them 2 years ago.
They probably just like you know what, numbers don't add up. You guys are done.
Yeah.
Like this morning and then like today. It's like that's a sucky way to find out about that. That's really lame.
yeah.
Ugh. Bummer.
That's sucky.
Well, way to find the good, happy news.
Yeah,
There
it's
you go.
a
There
great
we go.
note to
We
end.
can't-
It's a great note to
can't
end
end
it
on
on.
Is
that.
there anything else?
No.
Damn
Gotta
it.
find something else.
Damn it.
Gotta find something
It's
else.
too
Undertale now has an official jazz album.
That's pretty cool.
It has an official metal
Mhm.
album too,
Nice.
or like they're both sanctioned at least. They're not made by Toby Fox, the creator of the soundtrack and the game. There's I don't know who, some YouTube guy who did a bunch of metal covers actually got approval from him to make a metal version, which is on iTunes. And there's
I'm glad he's doing that stuff because I remember
He apparently really loves hearing covers of the songs. Like
I can imagine that.
Yeah, he's like these are awesome, and then that's what he wanted everyone to.
Because I remember he was like he's one of those developers who's like, please don't sell stuff that's not my merch because
Yeah.
I want all the money. Please, thanks, bye.
Well, I mean,
And he'll
to
license
be,
it out, but it's good that he's actually licensing
to
stuff
be
like that
to
out.
be fair, that's totally a legitimate
Yeah, I
thing
know.
to ask of your fans.
I
Like,
know, but-
please don't buy merch that's not official. Like, Nintendo doesn't want you to buy unofficial Nintendo crap too. That's why
I
you
know,
buy
but
a
like,
real one
but
that's
like,
like authorized.
even
or
like
whatever.
people like who make stuff off Etsy, it's all cute and like in the home.
Like, this is an official Capcom Shadowloo shirt.
But when you think about a game like Undertale, where it's like this is a really small game, it's $10. This is not like a Capcom thing that they're like, Capcom's
I
a
know,
giant
but still,
conglomerate.
like, what if us like people just sell it on their Etsy store or something small? Like they're not the person who's also selling it's not like making a ton of money off it either.
But I mean, like that's like what copyright is.
That's
Like
the
that.
problem with copyright law.
Yeah.
You have to enforce it
Mm.
100% of the time, or they have grounds where they say, hey, well, you didn't enforce it against these people,
Yeah.
so why do you
that's
have legal
true.
standing?
Yeah, and it's also just like I completely get that if you create like something, you don't want anyone else to just take the same thing and then just like that. There
True.
I mean, there were instances especially where like stuff where people were like ripping like sprites from the game and
Oh
just
yeah.
like printing
And
that
putting
out.
them in
Putting 'em
Move
in.
or Die.
Yeah. Well, that's not making any money. Off
I
of
know,
that,
but
but
I'm-
that's
And it's Sonic.
Sonic. Yeah,
All right.
I get that stuff. Anyway,
Man.
those are two downer
Game
notes to end it
trailer.
on.
I somehow made that a downer thing.
Yeah.
It was like so
Uh-huh.
good. Well,
Yeah. Cool jazz album. Jazz albums are awesome, and the jazz covers of the Undertale stuff. Some of those songs, especially, are really well tailored for
it's
that.
too bad jazz is dying as a genre. No one's listening to it anymore, and like it's
Man.
just gonna go away.
Man.
Jazz musicians just aren't. No one's
Man.
just, kids these days aren't listening to it
Man.
anymore. You know? So
Man.
they'd rather have their pop music. That's how it goes.
Check out Pixel Legends at pixellegends.com, as well as on iTunes. If you guys would like to subscribe, hit the review button if you want. That'd be really nice of you. We're on Twitter, Pixel_Legends on Twitter, and Facebook. Just a like there. We'd really appreciate it. Laurentius, thank you again for joining us for a second
Yeah.
time. Hope to have you on
Absolutely.
again. And you have something you want to say, Ricardo?
No.
You have something you want to add?
I was just
Got
gonna,
something to share?
I was just gonna sing "Kansas is Dust in the Wind" because Ethan has brought the whole mood down.
Well, while you do that, play us out, and we will see you next week for more of the Pixel Podcast.
My eyes, only for a moment, and the moment's gone.
StarCraft.